Chapter 488. Miss Yun, I can't agree. I can't watch you risk your life. Elder Bai wouldn't agree. Yun Jioga was the only hope of the eagle race. He was more important than his own life. Due to the unreliable dummies demonstration, Yun Jioga became an impulsive and unreliable person in Elder Bai's mind. Elder Bai, I'm confident if I dare to go. To be honest, this guard of mine is also from the Naga race. I won't be in danger with him. Yun Jioga looked at Zishang. Now's your chance to shine. When this guy first appeared, he was pretending to be a snake. Don't be a coward. Brother Yi Zi is from the Naga race? Elder Bai didn't believe it. The Naga had scales on their faces and hands, and this man whose face could not be seen clearly was too clean. I'm from the black snake race. Zishang cooperated. Black scales grew on his cheeks and soon covered his entire body. The scales were so shiny that they looked like they were made of gemstones. They were dazzlingly beautiful, like the most beautiful artwork that would shatter with one touch. Zishang saw that Elder Bai's eyes were filled with suspicion, so he punched the wall. Rubble cracked and dust flew. A huge hole appeared in the wall. Do you believe me now? Zishang looked like he was going to punch a hole through if he didn't believe him. Elder Bai nodded. Yes, I believe you. Warrior Yi Zi is strong indeed. With you protecting Miss Yun, she'll be fine. Then let's go to Blue Water Lake now. By the way, does Dummy know the way? Yun Jioga asked. With Dummy's muddle-headed brain, he didn't want them to carry him into the ditch. I'll let Aze and Ajun go with you. They often go to Blue Water Lake and are the most experienced. These two were Elder Bai's most trusted subordinates. He usually didn't want to send them out. But this was a special situation. With them guarding Yun Jioga, he was more assured. Yun Jioga nodded and followed Elder Bai out of the storage room. He saw Dummy squatting at the door and staring at them in confusion. There were two red-skin trees with a huge cowhide rope tied between them. Aze and Advisor Jun were introducing the environment of Eagle Cliff and the troublesome things he had done in the past. Your Highness, that's the slingshot you made. As long as you put a stone on it, it can fly very far. Back then, when the other tribes wanted to attack our Eagle Cliff, this thing helped a lot. Although Elder Bai scolds you all day long, he's actually very proud of you. The military counselor turned around and asked Elder Bai. Right? My ass. This brat causes trouble every day. If he could just stop a little, I could live for a few more years. Although Elder Bai's tone was harsh, his eyes were very kind. It was obvious that he loved Dummy very much. Ayo, ayo, ayo. Bullshit, bullshit. Dummy started howling like a beast, but other than Yun, no. Yun. The Elder Bai could not help but sigh when he saw Dummy like this. Yun, Tiyun, Yun Shao Mingt, Ti, Prince Yun, He Yun, Ti Du Say, Yun, and Yun He Ti. Miss Yun, please save His Highness, Elder Bai begged. Don't worry, Elder Bai. I'll do my best. Yun Jioga nodded. Dummy is my mount, but I've always treated him as one of my own. Even if he wakes up and wants to stay at Eagle Cliff, I'll let him go. Yun Jioga had always been very lenient with his spirit beasts. Miss Yun, you're such a good person. Elder Bai had been worried that Yun Jioga wouldn't save him in order to restrain the prince. Hearing this, he realized he was being too petty. Good people don't live long. That's not a compliment. Yun Jioga smiled and patted Dummy's head. Dummy, do you know how to get to Blue Water Lake? Oh. Blue Water Lake? Could it be eaten? Dummy tilted his head and looked at Yun Jioga. There's a type of black, fragrant, and sweet grass there. It's planted in the territory of the Nagas, Yun Jioga explained. Oh. I know where to find tasty grass. Dummy nodded immediately. Aze, Ajun, accompany Miss Yun and Warrior Yi Zi to Blue Water Lake to find the gaga grass. You must protect Miss Yun, Elder Bai ordered. Yes. Aze and Ajun didn't understand but nodded without hesitation. Then, Yun Jioga and Zishang sat on Dummy's back and flew towards Eagle Cliff. Along the way, they encountered many returning eagles. They were all skinny, and the food they carried in their hands was very little. Don't you have any females here? Yun Jioga couldn't help but ask. Why not? You really believe what Little Blossom and Big Ear said? Aze pointed at a few caves and said, "We don't have females. We marry them from outside. They can't fly, so they can only stay in the caves. They rarely come out." Yunjioga followed Aze's gaze and saw a few females. One of them had a very long face. It was probably a horse. One had bull horns and was very tall. It was probably a bull. She even saw a girl from the rabbit tribe. She had long black hair, long soft ears, and red eyes. She was petite and cute. She was waiting at the entrance of the cave for her partner to return. A young eagle carried a large bundle of grass and carrots and flew towards her. They looked good. At least, they were much better than the eagles flying in the sky. Of course, our eagle race treats our females very well. Agu saved that rabbit race chick from the swamp of death. He goes out every day to find food for his partner before starting to hunt, Aze said proudly. Looks like I misunderstood you before. Yunjioga was a little ashamed. He was definitely a good male to save food for his wife and children. It's fine. As long as the misunderstanding is cleared up. Miss Yun, you must find a partner like this in the future. Our prince is a little unreliable, but he's very capable. He can always find a lot of food. He's also the only orc in our secret realm that can completely transform. Even Elderby said he's a child favored by the gods. Aze kept promoting how brave and powerful his prince was. I believe that. Yunjioga stroked Dummy's messy hair. As a foodie, finding food was his instinct. Being her mount, wasn't that the same as being favored by the gods? Ow ow ow. Dummy seemed to know that everyone was praising him. He shouted a few times in high spirits and sped up. Chapter 489. Prince, wait, don't fly so fast. Aze and Ajun chased after Dummy with all their might, but they ended up eating its farts the whole way. By the time they reached Blue Water Lake, they were exhausted. This is Blue Water Lake? Yunjioga looked down from above and saw a beautiful blue lake embedded in the gray land. In the east, where the water was dense, a group of skinny elk was vigilantly drinking water by the side of the lake. In the shallow part of the lake, a human-shaped, snake-tailed orc was hiding in the water, trying to approach them. But these elk were extremely vigilant. When they realized something was wrong, they turned and ran. The naga swam out of the water dejectedly, but it was impossible to chase them. Stupid nagas, they only deserve to eat the small fish in the lake. They want to catch such big prey? Wishful thinking, Aze said with a look of disdain. It was obvious he had a deep grudge against the nagas. Isn't there enough fish in the lake for them to eat? Why do they want to hunt these elk? This was too difficult. After the black rain, the fish in Blue Water Lake also began to die out. Only the water grass is left. Aze sighed, but he didn't seem to be gloating. The decrease in food was a disaster for the entire secret realm. Don't the nagas have crossbows? Why don't they use them for hunting? If crossbows could be used to shoot from afar, the elk wouldn't be able to escape no matter how vigilant they were. Those weapons are poisonous. Even if they kill the prey, they won't be able to eat it again, the military advisor interrupted. What's the point of trading if they can't hunt? Yunjioga didn't think the nagas were stupid. To fight us orcs. The military advisor's thin lips revealed a sarcastic smile. That god emissary doesn't really want to help our beastmen race. He only wants to provoke a war, but these fools still believe in him. Sooner or later, our race will be exterminated. I don't think they want to believe them, but they have no choice. Yunjioga watched as the naga returned to the water. It bobbed up and down but still couldn't find food. It looked very pitiful. Whatever, ignore them. Let's find the gaga grass and go back, Aze said. Where is the gaga grass? Yunjioga asked. It's near their territory. We have to go there a bit more, Aze said with experience. Ow ow ow. Without waiting for Aze to lead the way, Dummy flapped its wings and flew over. After a while, Yunjioga discovered a large patch of gaga grass planted in a depression. It was black and shiny, and its growth was spectacular. 2 naga warriors were enjoying the cool in a shady place. 4 female nagas were weeding in the field, and their service was very meticulous. Don't the naga eat meat? Why would they spend so much effort to grow the Gaga grass? Yunjyoga had thought that the Naga tribe protected the Gaga grass to repel foreign enemies, but now he realized that this was not the case at all. They would eat a little from time to time, but they wouldn't plant them in large amounts like they are doing now. I heard that the oracle asked them to plant them in exchange for weapons, Ajun said. Right now, there are only 2 warriors and a few females. We can fly down and pluck a few before leaving, Aze said. Alright, let's take a look first. If the distance was too far, using the spiritual I would consume a lot of spiritual energy. Yunjyoga decided to take a good look at the Gaga grass after obtaining it. I'm going down. Then, Aze flapped his wings and flew down. The soldiers who were resting on the side quickly picked up their crossbows and fired at Aze. Their archery skills were very good, and they took turns to lock down Aze's movements. Aze could only fly up and couldn't get close. I'll go cover. Strategist couldn't help but go down. However, it was useless for him to go down. The few females grabbed the rocks beside them and threw them at him. This greatly affected Ajun's mobility. Just when Yunjyoga was thinking about whether to go down and help, Zishang suddenly said, "There's an ambush. Those 2 chicks are in danger." As soon as he said this, a dozen Nagas suddenly appeared in the empty valley. A row of crossbows was aimed at Aze and Strategist who were flying low. Yunjyoga immediately flicked his moon spirit threads on Aze and Strategist and used the elasticity to pull them up. A row of crossbow bolts flashing with a cold light shot out in unison. Aze and Strategist broke out in cold sweat. They were so close to turning into beehives. Miss Yun, these Nagas seem to be prepared. Why don't we leave first and come back when we have enough people? Strategist looked at the increasing number of Nagas below. The row of crossbows was like the scythe of death. No need, you 2 retreat first. I'll go down with Yi. Yunjyoga didn't just come to study the Gaga grass this time. He also wanted to subdue the Nagas. Miss Yun, don't be impulsive. Strategist quickly shouted. But it was too late. Zishang had already jumped off Dummy's back with Yunjyoga. They landed on the ground and blasted a hole. Fierce, you despicable person. How dare you ambush us? Come and kill me if you dare. Aze didn't dare to fly too low. He could only provoke the leader of the Nagas. The leader of the Nagas was a young man. His long blonde hair was tied up by his neck with a straw rope. He had pale skin and exquisite facial features. His long eyes were slightly slanted. He was gloomy yet gorgeous. Below his waist was a ringed snake tail. He ignored Aze's provocation and ordered the people behind him, "Get rid of this man and take the woman." As soon as he finished speaking, the Nagas all attacked Zishang, who was beside Yunjyoga. Dozens of arrows flew toward Zishang. The scales on Zishang's body abruptly grew out, and he reached out with his hand to grab all the arrows. "Don't fight back," Yunjyoga quickly stopped him. These Nagas weren't like the 5 poison cult members. They probably didn't have the antidote. She would be the one suffering. Zishang heard Yunjyoga's order. The arrows he threw at the Nagas all flew to the rocks on the side and shattered into countless pieces. His slender pupils constricted. He had never thought that this mysterious man would be so powerful. Most importantly, the scales on this man's body were somewhat similar to the Naga race. Could it be that he was also a Naga? No, Nagas couldn't completely transform. He didn't have a snake tail. He might be a different race. The divine messenger had given the order to all those who surrendered. If they could catch the woman flying to Eagle Cliff, they would get large amounts of food. It was already autumn. Winter wasn't far away. It was especially hard to get food this year. There were fewer and fewer fish in Blue Water Lake. They weren't good at hunting on land. If they couldn't get the divine messenger's food reward, this winter would be very difficult. Even if they could hibernate, many people would die. Especially those cubs. None of them would survive. Thinking about this, he immediately threw those messy thoughts to the back of his head and ordered his people, "Continue attacking." Chapter 490. With that, Meng put down his crossbow, grabbed 2 daggers, and pounced towards Zishang. His movement speed was very fast. The daggers in his hands were made of refined iron, and the venom he extracted from his own poisonous fangs was smeared on them. Zishang did not dare to underestimate Meng's attack, and he protected Yun Jioge behind him as he fought with Meng. Meng was agile, and his body was unbelievably soft. His movements were fast and accurate, and he had great strength. If it was any other cultivator who had lost their spiritual energy, he would definitely be a terrifying killer. However, Zishang was strong to begin with, and he blocked Meng's attack with every move. He quickly found an opening that Meng revealed, and punched him in the chest, sending him flying. Meng's body crashed into a rock, and he slid down in a sorry state, and blood immediately seeped out of the corner of his mouth. "Chief!" The snake men saw that their chief was actually sent flying, and they hurriedly surrounded him. The remaining warriors stood outside in a defensive position, and their snake eyes shot out rays of anger as they stared fiercely at Zishang. Zishang looked at them coldly, but he did not have any intention of attacking. "Everyone, don't be afraid. Actually, this friend of mine is also a snake man." Yun Jioge tugged on Zishang's sleeve and said softly, "Hurry up and show your snake tail." Didn't he like to show his tail in the past? Tisk! Zishang had no choice but to appear in a half-human half-snake form, and he had already stopped being a snake demon for many years. However, since Yun Jioge had instructed him, he obediently turned his lower body into a snake tail. The long black snake tail was dazzling, and the power contained within it was even more terrifying. "You're actually a snake man?" Meng's eyes lit up, and he moved his golden and black snake tail, wanting to touch Zishang's tail. Scram! Zishang's face darkened, and he whipped Meng's snake tail away. CSI! Meng was in pain from the whip, but he still revealed a happy expression, and said to Zishang, "Warrior, since you're a snake man, why are you mingling with the eagle race? There are enemies." Eagles fed on poisonous snakes, and although the eagle race had never eaten the snake men, the food supply in the mystic realm was getting more and more scarce, and in the long run, it was hard to guarantee that the beast men wouldn't eat each other. Meng had always been on guard against this day, which was why he had sought refuge with the oracle early in order to exchange for weapons. "You're wrong. The eagle men are not your enemies. Your enemies are the aura of death and hunger. You should work together to overcome this crisis. You will only make things worse if you keep killing each other," Yun Jioge said as he took the opportunity to step forward. "And who are you?" Meng looked at Yun Jioge suspiciously and warily. "My surname is Yun. I believe your divine emissary has mentioned me to you before. Otherwise, you wouldn't have risked your lives to capture me," Yun Jioge said with a faint smile. "The oracle didn't mention your origin. She only said that if we catch you, we can go to them and exchange you for a large amount of food." Meng was an honest young man. He directly spoke the truth. "Haven't you thought about why this oracle wants to capture me?" Yun Jioge asked patiently. "No." Meng shook his head honestly. The oracle was an honorable person. How could they dare to ask for her opinion? "Then I'll tell you." Yun Jioge cleared his throat and began to bluff again. "The reason your oracle wants to capture me is because we can bring you hope. For example, your most important food." "Really? You have food on you?" Meng's eyes widened. The people behind him also became restless. "Lady Yun, our eagle men pledged loyalty to you first. If you have food, you have to give it to us first," Aze immediately yelled. "Pfft, you eagle men piss off." Meng spat at Aze and then said to Yun Jioge passionately, "Lady Yun, you're friends with this Naga warrior. That means you're a friend of our Naga race. As long as you can give us food, we'll do anything you want. Lady Yun, you're the master of our prince. You can't abandon the eagle men." Aze panicked. "Lady Yun, as long as you can provide food, you can even be my master." Meng was even more desperate than Aze. "Stop, stop, stop." Yun Jioge quickly stopped the two and said, "Your two tribes will get enough food. I promise." "Lady Yun, can I ask where your food comes from?" Meng was a bit hesitant. Judging from the eagle men's attitude, the food probably wasn't placed at Eagle Cliff. If Lady Yun placed a large amount of food somewhere else, then he would have to send some tribesmen over to help protect it. "Don't worry about that. Let's talk about the Gaga grass first." Yun Jioga wasn't stupid enough to take out food from her storage bag in front of them. Although she had a lot of food in her storage bag, it could only help them temporarily. The most important thing was to help them improve their environment and teach them how to support themselves. Lady Yun, the oracle told us to plant these gaga grass in exchange for weapons. If you like it, feel free to use it. Meng said very generously. He wanted to exchange weapons in order to prevent sneak attacks from the Eagle Men. Now that they had formed an alliance with the Eagle Men, the gaga grass wouldn't be of use anymore. I don't think the gaga grass is for food. It's for research on the... Before Yun Jioga could finish her explanation, a crunching sound came from behind her. She turned around stiffly and saw Dummy squatting in a corner of the gaga grass, happily eating. There was already a pile of black residue at his feet. Yun Jioga quickly opened her spirit eye to take a look. She realized that the gray gas in Dummy's brain had indeed thickened. Dummy, get over here. This was the first time Yun Jioga lost her temper at Dummy. Ayo. Although Dummy didn't understand, he still obediently rolled in front of Yun Jioga. Sooner or later, you will die from eating. Yun Jioga pointed at Dummy's head in disappointment. Ayo, ayo, ayo. Dummy was still unconvinced. In front of delicious food, there would be no joy in living if he didn't eat. You dare to talk back after eating. Go over there and stand. Yun Jioga angrily pointed at a large rock at the side. She was prepared to punish Dummy by making him stand. She had to take this opportunity to teach Dummy a lesson. Otherwise, if she allowed him to eat randomly, there would be problems sooner or later. Ayo. Dummy didn't want to go. Zishang, bring him over. If he doesn't repent, then don't let him come back. Yun Jioga threw Dummy to Zishang. Zishang carried Dummy's fat body with a look of disdain. After sealing his meridians, he stood in a golden rooster posture as punishment and watched Yun Jioga's situation from the side. After Yun Jioga vented her anger, she turned to see Aze, Advisor Jun, and Meng looking at her with a dumbfounded expression. Only then did she realize that things weren't going well. Chapter 491. It was over. It would be troublesome if they misunderstood that he didn't treat Dummy well. Yun Jioga quickly explained to Aze and military advisor, the reason your prince became an idiot was because his brain was blocked by a gray chi. He was much better after he came back, but after eating this grass, it worsened. That's why I'm so angry. Miss Yun, just teach His Highness Ling Fei a lesson. He's indeed too naughty. Because the tribe leader passed away early, the people in the tribe let him have his way. If you can teach him well, the entire Eagle tribe will be grateful to you. Aze looked at Yun Jioga excitedly. In the past, Elder Bai had wanted to punish the prince countless times, but he would always get away with it. If he was punished too harshly, he would even bring out the former tribe leader and nag at him. No one had the heart to do it, and in the end, he became a demon king. He even dared to charge through the holes in the sky. Now that Yun Jioga was willing to teach him a lesson, they were happy. Seeing that Aze was truly grateful and military advisor wasn't unhappy, Yun Jioga was relieved. At this moment, Meng suddenly interrupted, Miss Yun, you just said that Ling Fei became an idiot because he ate our grass. Is it poisonous? That's right, it's your grass that's poisonous. That's why our tribe's cubs are so weak. None of them can live past 10 years old. Aze pointed at Meng and yelled. Meng's face immediately paled. Their tribe was also experiencing a situation where cubs died young. Because everyone was in the same situation, they thought it was because there wasn't enough food. They just desperately searched for food. They didn't expect it to be caused by the grass. Your grass is indeed problematic. You've been planting it for so long. Haven't you noticed anything different from before? Yun Jioga asked. Orcs had a long-standing habit of eating the grass. There was no problem before, so it must have mutated recently. In the past, the gaga grass was hard and dry, and there wasn't much water, so it didn't grow very fast. However, ever since the oracle gave us a new planting recipe, the gaga grass grew very fast. It basically grew again and again after we cut it. The god's messenger asked us to cultivate it, and he said that he will promote it in our chaos mystic realm, so that all beastmen can eat the fresh and delicious gaga grass. Meng said with a pale face. Because their tribe's territory was rich in gaga grass, their tribesmen didn't like to eat it. Only pregnant women who wanted to change their appetite after pregnancy would eat more. What kind of secret technique did they teach you? Let me have a look, Yunjioga said, extending his hand. This is it. He took out a wooden box from the animal skin bag he was carrying on his back. When he opened it, there were many gray fruits inside. He handed one to Yunjioga and said, "Just grind the fruit, mix it with water, and sprinkle it on the ground." Yunjioga picked up the gray fruit and sniffed it. He didn't find any strange smell. She then opened her spiritual eye to observe carefully, but she did not discover anything special. "Let me have a look," Zishang walked over and said. Yunjioga handed over the gray fruit. Zishang looked at it carefully. Finally, he wiped it with the hem of his clothes, scraped some powder, and was about to pour it into his mouth. "You're crazy. You don't even know what it is and you dare to eat it." Yunjioga hurriedly pulled Zishang's hand and snatched the gray fruit. "That fat bird was fine after eating it. Nothing will happen to me." Zishang said indifferently. "How can you be so sure? What if something happens?" Yunjioga glared at Zishang. He was also a troublemaker. "I was wrong. I won't eat random things in the future." Zishang admitted his mistake. Although Yunjioga was fierce, it felt good to be cared for by her. "Meng, grind this fruit and pour it on me." Yunjioga placed the gray fruit back in Meng's hands. "Okay, please wait a moment." Meng called over a rather old female snake person and told her to pour water on the gaga grass as usual. The female snake person took the gray fruit and smashed it into powder. Then, she mixed it in a bucket of water and carried it to the field. After being watered, the gaga grass looked very energetic. The black color was very pure. It looked very tempting. Meng Qi really wanted to try it. "How is it? Did you see anything?" Zishang asked. "Not yet." Yunjioga moved her gaze away from the gaga grass and looked at the female snake person in charge of watering the field. This female snake person looked to be around 50 years old. Her hair was white and her face was full of wrinkles. Her eyes were a little turbid. She stood there in a daze like a wooden person. "What's your name?" Yunjioga asked the female snake person warmly. The female snake person did not have any reaction. It was as if she did not hear her question. "She's called Aunt Gaga?" Meng asked the female snake person. "Has she always been like this?" Yunjioga asked Meng. "No. In the past, Aunt Gaga was very amazing. She would always find the freshest and tastiest gaga grass. Later on, food became scarce. In order to save more food for her child, she fainted. When she woke up, she was a little dazed. However, she is still very good at growing gaga grass." Meng explained. Yunjioga opened her spiritual eye and saw that Aunt Gaga's brain was filled with gray gas. "Is there a problem?" Meng saw Yunjioga's weird expression and could not help but ask. "I don't think she is dazed. She is like the Eagle Prince. Her brain was blocked by the gray gas and she lost her consciousness." Yunjioga said. "How is that possible? Aunt Gaga has always lived in our tribe. She has never left." Meng heard that the Eagle Prince flew into a hole in the sky. "The gray gas is in your tribe. It is silently swallowing your consciousness. Its ultimate goal is to turn all of you into puppets." Yunjioga finally understood what the gray gas was. It was puppet gas. It was specially used to make puppets. However, the lump in front of her was different from the one she had seen before. "You mean, someone wants to turn all the beast men in the primal chaos secret realm into puppets?" Zishang asked. "That's right." Yunjioga nodded. The gaga grass was the medium through which the gray gas was spread. The person behind this was too evil. He actually wanted to kill the beastmen by using pregnant women. When the beastmen were completely hopeless, they would speed up the process. "Then how do we get rid of it?" Meng asked. He did not want his tribesmen to become puppets. "They are deeply poisoned. I have no idea how to get rid of it. Lock up all these people who suddenly became dazed. We will talk about it later." Yunjioga did not have the time to deal with these adult beastmen. In her heart, the cubs were more important. Chapter 492. "Okay, I'll lock them up now." Meng ordered his subordinates to take Aunt Gaga away. He straightened his tail and bowed to Yunjioga. Miss Yun, I pledge my loyalty to you on behalf of the Naga tribe. Please save our young. Get up. Take me to see your young first. Yunjioga gestured for Zishang to help Meng up. Zishang ignored him. Fortunately, Meng immediately got up and led the way. Miss Yun, this way please. The Naga warriors quickly surrounded Yunjioga and Zishang, pushing Zhe and the military advisor outside. Zhe and the military advisor were kings in the sky, but they were inferior to snakes on the ground. Zhe angrily squeezed a few times but couldn't get in. He could only follow behind gloomily. Did we forget something? The military advisor suddenly remembered something after a few steps. What did you forget? Zhe looked confused. Never mind, I can't remember. The military advisor shook his head and continued walking. Dummy, who was still standing on the grass, looked at the people walking away and immediately howled. Yunjioga stopped in his tracks. He had almost forgotten about Dummy. Do you understand? Yunjioga asked. Understood. Dummy's fat head moved up and down like a chicken pecking at rice. Will you still eat random things in the future? Yunjioga asked again. No more random things. Dummy was really scared this time. He was too fat. After standing alone for so long, his legs were about to break. Good boy. Yunjioga patted his fat head and had Zishang release his seal. Then he walked toward the Naga tribe with Meng. Dummy limped behind the Naga warriors with Zhe and the military advisor. Yunjioga walked into the Naga tribe and saw many Nagas walking between simple wooden houses. They were all skinny, not much better than the Eagle tribe. That's our nursery. Meng pointed to a white wooden house at the back of the tribe. This wooden house was made of eucalyptus. It had no doors or windows. There was only a round hole for the Nagas to crawl through. Yunjioga naturally couldn't crawl through the hole like the Nagas. It was dark inside, so he asked Meng to move the little Nagas out. Little Nagas are very afraid of light, Meng said with a troubled expression. How are you afraid of light? Do your eyes tear up when you see light, or do you feel uncomfortable when you're exposed to sunlight? Yunjioga asked. I'll have to ask someone. As the chief of the tribe, Meng put all his energy into survival, so he didn't know much about these things. After asking the people who were in charge of taking care of the little Naga, he found out that the little Naga's eyes would cry when it saw light. In that case, cover their eyes with black cloth and bring them out, Yunjioga said. Black cloth? What is that? Meng asked. Yunjioga looked at the snake people who didn't even need to use animal skin to cover their nether regions. He could only helplessly express that they only needed to cover the little snake people's eyes. There was no need to use black cloth. We can weave black leaf grass into blindfolds for the cubs to wear, the Naga who was in charge of taking care of the cubs said. Oh, that's right. Quick, bring the dark night grass over. Meng Qi ordered his clansmen to quickly weave 5 masks and bring them into the nursery. Put some straw mats under the shade of the tree for the children. Yunjioga asked Meng Qi to build a comfortable place under the tree for the little Nagas. There were 5 sick little Nagas in total. They were about 5 or 6 years old. Their heads were covered by the dark night grass, and their skin was pale because they hadn't seen the light for a long time. 3 of them had emerald green snake tails. 1 had yellow stripes on a black base, and the other had white stripes on a brown base. The 5 little Nagas were slithering on the ground as if they had no bones. The scales on their stomachs were dull, and they looked weak and powerless. They couldn't straighten their bodies and move quickly like their strong clansmen. A few days ago, there was a gold kite with a tail. Unfortunately, all its scales fell off and it died. Meng Qi's tone was very sad. That was a gold kite. If it could grow up successfully, it would definitely be as strong and brave as Meng Qi. Unfortunately, it died early during the painful process of losing its scales. After Yunjioga examined the little Nagas with a serious expression, he found that they were the same as the eagle cubs. They were all malnourished and polluted by the death qi, and were devoured by the gray gas. As long as the gray gas of death was expelled, and they were given more nutrition, they would quickly become healthy again. However, this was easy to say but difficult to do. Malnourishment and the death chi were easier to deal with, but she couldn't think of a solution to controlling the gray gas. Although she could use her divine power to expel it, it was like killing a chicken with a butcher's knife. It was too wasteful and inefficient. With her recovery speed, she didn't know how long it would take to cure these 10 cubs. This was definitely not the best choice. Yun Jioga told Zi Shang the difficulty quietly. Zi Shang suggested, should we release Yin Shirley and ask him? Yin Shirley had been the sect leader of the Yin Corpse sect for so many years as a zombie. He also had the support of Fan Yin. Perhaps he could think of a good idea. Okay. Yun Jioga nodded. However, she couldn't release Yin Shirley in front of the beastmen. She planned to go back to Eagle Cliff first. Lady Yun, our Naga race has many houses. You don't have to worry about safety. Why don't you stay here? Meng Qi said anxiously. He was afraid that Yun Jioga would never return. Who knows if I will be sold to that divine messenger the moment I wake up? Azay snorted. Meng Qi glared at Azay fiercely. Then he raised his right hand and swore to Yun Jioga, I Shi Meng, swear on my life that I will never sell Lady Yun to the divine messenger. If I disobey, you don't need to swear. I believe you. Yun Jioga quickly interrupted Meng Qi's oath and explained, I'm returning to Eagle Cliff for Ling Fei. He is the first person to be infected by the gray gas. As long as his problem is solved, your cubs and Aunt Gaga can be saved. His Highness Ling Fei is the prince of our eagle tribe. You can't let him stay in your Naga race. Be careful that he gets hungry and eats you like snake meat. Azay provoked Meng. Ao. Eat all of you. After Dummy recovered his energy, he arrogantly flapped his fat wings and hooted at the Naga. Meng Qi was so angry that his face turned red. Just as he was about to retaliate, he heard Zi Shang say coldly, if he dares to eat us, he can come and try. He was pretending to be a Naga race member, so he naturally had to support them to the end. Seeing that Zi Shang had spoken, Azay did not dare to say anything. Dummy's fat face looked like he was in a daze. It was as if he was not the one who had spoken just now. This baby had no idea what they were talking about. Master Yi Zi is mighty. Meng Qi looked at the domineering Zi Shang excitedly. He was so excited that his snake tail curled into a circle. Guard the tribe well. We will return, Zi Shang calmly ordered. Yes. Meng Qi punched his chest with his right fist and said firmly. The other tribesmen also solemnly expressed their obedience. How many of those gray stones are left? Bring them back for research, Chu Shigu said. 10 more. Meng Qi gave all the gray stones to Yun Jioga. These divine stones were like poison to him now. Even if Yun Jioga did not want them, he was going to burn them all. Don't destroy the Gaga grass yet. We don't want to attract the attention of the divine messenger. Yun Jioga did not want to go against Nangong Yu and the others before he solved the problem of the beastman's gray gas. Yes. Meng Qi hurriedly nodded and secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Although he had already decided to follow Yun Jioga loyally, he was not willing to be the first to fight the divine messenger. It was best to buy some time. Chapter 493. Yun Jioga took Grey Rock and Dummy back to Eagle Cliff. Elder Bai was waiting for them to come back empty-handed. He asked in shock, You didn't get any Gaga grass? Although the Nagas were ferocious, there was no way they couldn't even get one. Elder Bai, Lady Yun and Warrior Yi Zi are too powerful. As soon as they appeared, they made the insectoids kneel on the ground and begged to follow them. Azay laughed as though the Naga race was loyal to him. Dummy stood next to him and imitated him, giggling with its wings akimbo. It looked like a hen that had just laid eggs. What's going on? Elder Bai looked at his steady grandson. Jun, Meng and the others were deceived by the oracle. Those Gaga are all raised with a kind of gray stone. If a pregnant woman eats it, she will give birth to a weak baby. If an adult eats it, they will slowly become stupid and eventually become a puppet. After Miss Yun exposed the oracle's conspiracy, Meng and the others decided to follow Miss Yun. The military counselor explained the whole process in detail. Those who aren't of our race must have a different heart. I knew that the oracle wasn't a good person. Elder Bai slapped his thigh and quickly realized he said the wrong thing. He quickly explained to Yun Jioga, Lady Yun, I'm definitely not talking about you, it's fine. Yun Jioga stopped Elder Bai and said, I'm going into seclusion to study the origin of those gray rocks. Elder Bai, please arrange a safe place for me. I've already arranged a place for you. It's the prince's nest. It's very safe and hidden. What do you think? Elder Bai asked. Very good. Yun Jioga nodded. Dummy's nest was some distance away from Eagle Cliff. It was surrounded by cliffs. It couldn't be better. Lady Yun, you must be hungry after being busy for so long. We've already prepared dinner. Why don't you go over after eating? Elder Bai said warmly. Yun Jioga thought about the dead spiders, rats, and snakes in the warehouse and rejected decisively, no need, I want to study it early. I'll go over now. Then, she sat on Dummy's back and left like she was being chased by a ghost. Miss Yun. Elder Bai looked at Yun Jioga's back anxiously and said worriedly, they don't have anything on them. What are they going to eat later? Elder, you don't have to worry about them. Lady Yun should have a lot of food on her. The military advisor repeated what Yun Jioga had said to the Naga tribe. Did she really say that she could solve the food problem of our two tribes? Elder Bai quickly asked. Yes, Zay heard it too. The advisor nodded. That's right, I heard it too. Lady Yun already promised to give food to our tribe first. Zay patted his chest as if he had fought for this benefit. Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and bring the warriors to protect Miss Yun. Elder Bai was so anxious that he almost jumped up. The fact that Yun Jioga was able to solve the fertility problem of the tribe was already impressive enough. Now that he was able to solve the food problem as well, Yun Jioga's position in Elder Bai's heart had already soared, comparable to that of the old patriarch who had passed away. Patriarch, we've been running for a day and haven't even had a drop of water. Can't you wait until we're full before going over? Azay felt wronged. He was starving. Eat my asteriskis. Hurry up and get out. If anything happens to Lady Yun, I'll eat you all, Elder Bai roared and kicked Azay away. The military advisor left on his own accord. Jun, I'm really hungry. I can't fly anymore. Azay hung his head and flapped his wings weakly. His stomach rumbled like a drum. Idiot, what can you eat at Eagle Cliff? If you want to eat, go find His Royal Highness. Lady Yun and the others might not need to eat, but His Royal Highness definitely needed to eat. Judging from his size, his food must be good. Yes, you're right. Let's hurry. Azay flapped his wings and flew towards Dummy's nest. Dummy's nest. Yun Jioga was taking out food from his storage bag. Pile after pile of beef patties and fresh fruits were piled in front of Dummy. These were prepared a long time ago when they left to deal with the bloodthirsty patriarch. Although they had been there for a few years, the storage bag was empty. They were still very fresh when he took them out. Dummy, be a good boy and watch the door. Don't let anyone come in and disturb us, okay? Yun Jioga patted Dummy's fat head. Ow ow ow. Dummy spread his wings to encircle the food and nodded furiously. Although cherry pills and spirit water were delicious, eating them every day was boring. It was good to change up the taste occasionally. Good boy. Yun Jioga pacified Dummy and brought Zishang into the depths of the nest. Then, she took out Yin Shirley from the storage bag. Last time, she used a bit of Yin Shirley's heaven and earth spiritual heart power. This time, she gave him some god power as compensation. The golden god power dripped onto Yin Shirley's heart. Yin Shirley's originally corpse-like chest began to rise and fall. Color returned to his face. Then, he slowly opened his eyes. Lady Yun Yizi? Yin Shirley looked at Yun Jioga in confusion. You're awake. How do you feel? Are you feeling unwell? Yun Jioga asked. I'm fine. I'm fine. But right, where is this? Where's the divine temple? Yin Shirley crawled up from the ground and realized that he was in a wide cave. The sky outside was gloomy and there was a faint aura of death in the air. The divine temple has been destroyed. This is the chaos mystic realm. Nangong, you brought Cho Sen and the others into the mystic realm a month earlier than us. Yun Jioga briefly explained what had happened. Yin Shirley listened with admiration and looked at Yun Jioga with admiration. The problem now is that Nangong Yu and the others are destroying the mystic realm. I suspect that these stones have something to do with them. Have you seen these stones before? Yun Jioga took out the gray stones and asked Yin Shirley. Let me see. Yin Shirley took the gray stones and wanted to infuse spiritual power into them. However, he realized that his dantian seemed to be dead. This mystic realm is a spirit-forbidden zone. Spiritual power cannot be used here, Yun Jioga said. Yin Shirley frowned. After some thought, he rubbed his fingers and a faint gray Yin Qi floated out. You can use Yin Qi? Yun Jioga was surprised. This is my natal Yin Qi. Didn't I tell you that I have the Yin-Yang Dao physique? Yin Shirley said. No. Yun Jioga finally knew how Yin Shirley was able to obtain the heaven and earth spiritual heart. He had been the sect patriarch for so many years without being discovered. The Yin-Yang Dao physique was a heaven-class bone frame and was even rarer than Lu Tian'er's and Yi Yunji's Dao physiques. Lu Tian'er was born with a refined corpse physique. If she cultivated a Yin Qi cultivation technique, she would turn herself into a living corpse. However, Yin Shirley's Yin-Yang Dao physique was able to freely switch between human and corpse. Chapter 494. Maybe I forgot. Yin Shirley grinned, then channeled his Yin Qi into the gray stone. The gray stone immediately changed. It turned into a ball of black-red light and burrowed into his body. Yin Shirley wanted to use his Yin Qi to block it, but it devoured him instead. Yun Jioga's eyes were sharp and his hands were quick. A golden light shot out and trapped the black-red light. The black-red light struggled desperately, but it could not break free from the divine power. What is this? Yun Jioga originally thought it was a control power. He did not expect it to be something else. It's a little like demonic qi, Zishang said hesitantly. Demonic qi? Aren't the devil race in the devil realm? Yun Jioga had purposely opened up a large realm for the devil race to play together. They were not allowed to harm other small realms. Moreover, Wan Sha had already returned to the devil realm. They could not let the devil race come out and cause destruction. It's a little like Wan Sha's demonic qi, but it's not quite the same. Zishang thought for a moment. He bit his index finger and drew a line between his brows, forcefully opening his demon eye. His eye split into three. As it rotated, it emitted different colors. He looked straight at the ball of black-red light. How is it? Yun Jioga asked nervously. This is not just simple demonic qi. It's mixed with Yin Qi, baleful qi, resentment qi, and other extremely evil things. Sweat seeped out of Zishang's forehead. He quickly closed his eyes and revealed an exhausted expression. Opening his eye without any demon power was too much of a burden on him. Are you all right? Yun Jioga wiped Zishang's sweat with a pained expression. Times are different now. Don't force yourself. What if something happens? I'm fine. Zishang shook his head. He quickly pulled himself together so that Yun Jioga wouldn't worry. The demonic qi contained in this gray stone is so complicated. Where did Nangong Yu get it? Yin Shirley was very surprised. Nangong Yu was a righteous person. I'm afraid we can only ask Nangong Yu or Nangong Li. Yun Jioga shook his head. It's useless to investigate its origin. Why don't we think of a way to remove it? Zishang said. There's no way to remove my Yin Qi. I can only strengthen it. Yin Shirley shook his head, indicating that he was powerless to help. Just as Yun Jioga was about to say that his divine power could solve the problem, Zishang spoke first. Although your power can solve the problem, it cannot solve the root of the problem. Nangong, you must have many of these gray stones in her hands. You won't be able to stop her. There were so many beastmen in the mystic realm. How many could his divine power save? Then what should we do? Yun Jioga frowned. Could it be that she could only watch as these beastmen died? The goddess couldn't do that. Our goal in entering the dungeon is to find Li Wei and obtain the key. Then, on the basis of finding him, we'll help these beastmen find a way to remove the control. Zishang wanted the beastmen to help find Li Wei. Otherwise, with how big the mystic realm was and how they couldn't use their divine abilities, who knew how long it would take them to find it? After talking for so long, You still don't have a solution to this demonic qi. Yun Jioga wanted to roll his eyes. Zishang was always thinking of using others to do things for him. I'll think of a solution. At least we now know what this gray stone is. To solve it, all we need is time, Zishang said nonchalantly. Senior is right. This thing is formed by mixing demonic qi with various kinds of evil qi. At the end of the day, it's just a high-level version of demonic qi. We'll know once we try a few more methods. As the sect master of an evil sect, Ian Shirley was also very knowledgeable about such things. He immediately suggested, Miss Yun, why don't you try using something from the righteous path? For example, Buddhist light, Tao light, etc. Sect master, have you forgotten that I'm from the same sect as you? How was she supposed to get Buddhist light and Tao light? Ian Shirley was a little embarrassed. He had a feeling that Yun Jioga and Sanskrit Almighty Being were in cahoots. Did Sanskrit not have any instructions for you to follow us in? Zishang asked. That fellow was a Buddhist expert. No, the Almighty Being only told me to follow you and follow your orders. Ian Shirley shook his head. If he wants you to follow me, he should at least give you some Dharma artifact, such as a Buddhist relic, Yun Jioga asked hopefully. I'm a living corpse. Am I afraid that I won't die fast enough with that thing? Ian Shirley asked honestly. All right. Yun Jioga gave up. We'll talk about the Dharma artifact later. Go out and see if Dummy's brain is this kind of demonic qi, Zishang said. If the gray qi in Dummy's brain wasn't demonic qi, then it would be useless for them to talk for a long time. All right, I'll go take a look now. Yun Jioga had only used his spirit eye to check briefly before. This time, he had to check it seriously. The three of them walked out and saw Zhe and Advisor June squatting beside Dummy. They were looking at the pile of food on the ground with extremely hungry and pitiful eyes. Dummy's two fat wings formed a semicircle to protect the food in the middle. His mouth was eating extremely quickly. He was extremely protective of his food. Dummy, you're too stingy. Yun Jioga glanced at Dummy's protruding stomach. It was clearly so full that it was about to vomit, but it still couldn't bear to share with others. What a stingy bird. Miss Yun, don't blame the prince. He wasn't like this in the past. He probably doesn't recognize us now, so he's being so protective of his food. Advisor June hurriedly explained for Dummy. He was afraid that Yun Jioga wouldn't have a good impression of Dummy and would abandon the Eagle clan. I'm just afraid that he'll eat too much. All right, Dummy, you can't eat anymore. Yun Jioga walked to the side and forcefully wrapped the food on the ground with a cloth. Ow, ow, ow. Dummy's feathers immediately exploded. His entire bird turned into a big ball. He looked at Zhe and Advisor June with an extremely ferocious gaze. He looked like he would fight them to the death if they dared to eat his food. Keep it well. Eat when you're hungry. Yun Jioga didn't share the food with Zhe and Advisor June. Instead, he packed it into a big bag and tied it to Dummy. Only then did Dummy retract his fat wings in satisfaction. He walked to his nest and hugged the bag to lie down. He was actually going to sleep. Zhe and Advisor June held their flat stomachs. Although they were very disappointed, they didn't dare to say anything. You guys can take these things and share them first. Yun Jioga turned around and took out a big bag of beef patties and big steamed buns from his cloth bag. He said to Zhe, after we've dealt with the gray gas, I'll help you solve the problem of food. It's okay. We can still find food now. You just have to try your best to solve it before winter comes, Zhe said excitedly as he took the bag of food. All right. Yun Jioga nodded. He decided to let Ian Shirley handle the problem of food for the orcs in case he had too much free time. Chapter 495. Lady Yun, Elder Bai asked us to send people to guard you. We will be stationed on the cliff. If you need anything, just call us, Zhe said warmly. He felt that he had made the right decision to come. Okay, I will. Yun Jioga nodded. Lady Yun, who is this brother? The military advisor looked at Ian Shirley, who had appeared out of nowhere. This is my companion. His name is Ian Shirley. Yun Jioga gave a simple introduction. He clearly didn't want to say much. So it's Brother Ian. I'm the military advisor. He's Zhe. Since you're Lady Yun's companion, You're a friend of the eagle race, the military advisor greeted politely. Ian Shirley nodded and didn't say anything. With his status and seniority, he really didn't want to be brothers with two juniors. Okay, hurry back. Don't disturb my work. Yun Jyoga sent a Zay and the military advisor off and went to look at Dummy. Dummy was hugging his bag of food and getting ready to sleep. Ever since he returned to the mystic realm, he always looked drowsy. Yun Jyoga used his god power to open his spirit eye and looked at Dummy's head. He saw that the golden light was still stubbornly blocking the gray gas. Other than the gray gas getting thicker, there wasn't any change. Yun Jyoga looked around and couldn't see any similarities between the gray gas and demonic chi. He took out his lightning fire and said to Ian Shirley, "Come and borrow some blood." "Stab here." Ian Shirley extended his thumb. Yun Jyoga stabbed some blood and stabbed towards Dummy's head. The gray gas smelled the blood and surrounded it like a shark. It immediately exploded and turned into a ball of black and red light. Dummy, who was sleeping, suddenly opened his blood-red eyes and flapped his wings to fly out. "Dummy, come here." Yun Jyoga hurriedly used his moon spirit thread to entangle him but was dragged out. Zishang pounced towards Dummy with lightning speed and wanted to press it down but was flung away by Dummy. "Ow, ow, ow." Dummy opened his mouth and shot out a series of fireballs. The entire cave was filled with sparks and shaking non-stop. Zay, who was enjoying his food outside the cliff, noticed the commotion and asked the military advisor, "What's going on?" "Let's go and take a look." Military counselor was not sure either. The two of them spread their wings and flew toward Dummy's nest, but they were almost hit by a fireball that flew out. "What's wrong with the prince?" Zay looked at the raging Dummy in shock. "The gray gas in his brain is going to explode." Yun Jyoga was using his moon spirit threads to hold Dummy back, not letting him run. Zishang blocked Dummy's fireball attack with his black-scaled arms, then rushed over and hammered him to the ground. "Ow, ow, ow." Dummy acted as if it didn't feel any pain and continued to struggle with all its might. "Release the line and let him fly out," Zishang said to Yun Jyoga. "It was like training a horse. You had to let it run until it was tired." "What if he doesn't come back?" Yun Jyoga regretted his recklessness. If he had known that Dummy would go berserk, he would have gone somewhere else to provoke it. "I'll keep an eye on him." Zishang jumped onto Dummy's back and tightly held onto the bundle tied around his body. "Use this to tie him up. Be careful." Yun Jyoga threw a ball of hemp rope to Zishang. After he was firmly tied up, he released the moon spirit threads. Dummy immediately flew out of the nest and turned into a small black dot in the blink of an eye. "Why aren't you guys chasing?" Yun Jyoga said to Zay and military counselor anxiously. "Oh, okay." Zay caught up and shouted, "Your Highness, Your Highness." Military counselor didn't chase. Instead, he asked Yun Jyoga seriously, "Miss Yun, what happened? Why did His Highness suddenly go berserk?" "The thing in His Highness's brain isn't puppet chi, but high-level demonic chi." Yun Jyoga explained her discovery. Military counselor was confused, but he quickly grasped an important point. Is puppet chi more difficult to deal with, or high-level demonic chi more difficult to deal with? Of course it's high-level demonic chi that's difficult to deal with. Puppet chi is only a small part of high-level demonic chi, Yun Jyoga said helplessly. She and Ian Shirley were both from evil sections. They were good at collecting and using demonic chi, but they had no idea how to deal with it. "Then what should we do?" Military counselor was anxious. It was his first time hearing about demonic chi and puppet chi, let alone dealing with it. He could only rely on outsiders like Yun Jyoga. "This can't be rushed. Let's wait for Your Highness to come back first." Yun Jyoga only hoped that Dummy could come back safely. Even if he was a little dumb, it was better than being dead. "I'll get someone to chase after him now." Military counselor flapped his wings and flew toward Eagle Cliff. "Don't worry. With Dummy's size, it's hard for anything to happen to him," Ian Shirley comforted Yun Jyoga. "Gluttons were always the hardest race to eliminate." "I hope so." Yun Jyoga sighed, but she quickly pulled herself together and asked Ian Shirley, "Why did the demonic chi disguised as puppet chi explode the moment it touched your blood?" "How would I know?" You're not suspecting that I'm a demon, are you? Ian Shirley was speechless. The demon race doesn't have living corpses. Yun Jioga was very familiar with the demon race. How could she not recognize Ian Shirley's true identity? It's either related to my yin-yang Taoist body or my heaven and earth spirit heart. Ian Shirley's most precious and special items were these two. Try them both. I'll take out your heaven and earth spirit heart first. Then, you can use your yin-yang Taoist body to try these gray stones. Ian Shirley could freely switch between human and corpse. Even if he took out the heaven and earth spirit heart, he could still last for a while. Ian Shirley nodded. After spending some time together, he trusted Yun Jioga very much. Yun Jioga's right hand turned into a claw and grabbed at Ian Shirley's chest. A crystal-clear green heart appeared in her hand. Ian Shirley's face immediately turned ashen. He quickly grabbed a gray stone and inserted a ray of gray into it. The gray stone immediately turned into a black-red light. However, it was much weaker than before. It was easily surrounded by Yun Jioga. Try using your heaven and earth spirit heart again. Yun Jioga placed the heaven and earth spirit heart back into Ian Shirley's chest. This time, the demonic chi that Ian Shirley released was as ferocious as before. It seems like your heaven and earth spirit heart has a nourishing effect on this demonic chi, Yun Jioga concluded. Demonic chi exists by devouring spiritual power. The reason why it came to the primal chaos mystic realm and turned into puppet chi is probably because this is a forbidden zone, Ian Shirley added. You're right. Yun Jioga sadly realized that after he gained a new understanding of this demonic chi, he found it even more difficult to get rid of it. Chapter 496. There will always be a way. Ian Shirley felt his words were very weak. Even he couldn't believe it. Yes, there will definitely be a way. Yun Jioga cheered herself on. Plus, Zishang was here. That despicable and unscrupulous guy would always think of a way at the crucial moment. Just at this moment, there was a flapping sound outside the cliff. Dummy was tied up and carried back by the birdman while Zishang was holding onto Zhe's leg. What happened to Dummy? Yun Jioga quickly went up and saw Dummy's red face and crooked mouth. He looked pitiful. He flew too fast and couldn't stop, so I helped him. Zishang jumped in front of Yun Jioga. You're too evil. Yun Jioga glared at Zishang. What if he injured Dummy? I know what I'm doing. Zishang always hit the fleshy parts of Dummy. Dummy, do you still recognize me? Yun Jioga patted Dummy's chubby face. Seeing that his eyes were spinning, she quickly opened her spirit eye to check and was shocked to find that the black and red light in Dummy's brain had decreased by a lot. What did you do to him? Yun Jioga couldn't help but ask Zishang. What happened to him? Zishang was a little guilty. This fat bird couldn't have been injured by him, right? The demonic chi in his brain disappeared. Yun Jioga told them about how Dummy's injuries had healed and asked them to think about what had happened just now. Zishang thought carefully and shook his head. I didn't do anything. I just punched him a few times. Then he looked at Dummy with an itchy look. That's not the reason. Yun Jioga decisively dispelled Zishang's bad intentions and looked at Zhe and military advisor with a questioning look. His Highness was already like this when we chased up. Military advisor Zhe and the others also didn't find anything special. Why don't you find another orc to compare, like that Aunt Gaga? Zishang suggested. Aunt Gaga's situation is different from Dummy's. Dummy has a ball of golden light in his head that can repel the demonic aura, but Aunt Gaga doesn't. Yun Jioga shook her head. Suddenly, an idea flashed through her mind. That's right, the golden light in Dummy's head was able to resist the demonic chi tenaciously when it was outside. After entering the Arcana land, it directly resisted the demonic chi outside. If they could decipher the secret of the golden light, then the beastmen in this mystic realm would be saved. I remember you saying that your prince is the only orc in the Arcana land who can transform. Yun Jioga Huang suspected that Dummy's transformation had something to do with the golden light. Yes, we beastmen are half human and half beast. Only His Highness can freely switch between beast and human forms. He is the only one in our arcane realm in the past few hundred years. The military advisor nodded and said, this was also the reason why the eagle race was superior to the other beastmen. He can take human form. Yun Jioga was surprised. Of course, His Highness's human form is also very perfect, the military counselor replied proudly. Yun Jioga looked down at the plump dummy, and an image of a chubby kid immediately appeared in his mind. But this was not the point. The point was how the golden light in Dummy's head was formed. After so many years, have you never thought about the reason why Ling Fei can transform at will? Yun Jioga asked. This is a skill that God gave to His Highness. What is there to think about? The military counselor looked puzzled. How could God's will be so easily guessed? This is not God's will. It is a physique problem. Dummy is very likely to have eaten something that caused him to evolve. Yun Jioga thought of Dummy's gluttonous physique and felt that he had already discovered the truth of the matter. I'm not sure about this. His Highness likes to look for food everywhere since he was young. We can't even find a trace of him. The military counselor shook his head. These years, the tribe had been very difficult. Even as a prince, Dummy did not have any preferential treatment. If he wanted more food, he had to find a way himself. He was fast and had a good nose. He could often eat a full meal and bring back some food. These food were usually given to Elder Bai as a show of respect. But Elder Bai ate so much, but he did not find any signs of evolution. Looks like I still have to wake Dummy up. It was just that it would take too much divine power. Yun Jioga looked at Zishang, wanting to ask for his opinion. Sure. Zishang expressed his approval. When he was riding on Dummy's body just now, he also found many special things about him. Rather than saying that Dummy was a beastman, it was better to say that he was a demon. He did not go through any special training, but his physical body was extremely strong. If he also cultivated the demon cultivation method, he would definitely become a great demon. He planned to observe Dummy after he woke up. If he was really loyal to Yun Jioga, then he could train him well. Zhe, military counselor, take some people to guard outside. Yi Zi and Senior Yin, stay here and help me guard. I want to help Your Highness solve the demonic chi problem in his brain, Yun Jioga said. Yes. The military counselor nodded and immediately flew out of Dummy's nest with the eagle warriors. They hid on the cliff outside. Do you need me to do anything? Yin Shirley asked. Rest well. Try not to use the power of the spiritual heart of heaven and earth, Yun Jioga said. This mystic realm would devour spiritual power. This was very dangerous for Yin Shirley. Then I will try my best to maintain my zombie state. Yin Shirley said as he went to a corner and squatted down. Help me guard, Yun Jioga said to Zishang. Don't worry. With Zishang around, there would be no problem. Yun Jioga then threw Dummy into its grass nest. She then used her palm to press against its Baihui acupoint. Golden divine power surged in. In order to get rid of the demonic chi in Dummy's brain in one go, she didn't hold back at all. She poured in all the divine power in her body. When the black-red demonic chi saw Yun Jioga's divine power enter, it fled in panic. It wanted to enter Dummy's blood through its meridians. Yun Jioga was just about to use her divine power to seal off its escape route. The golden light in Dummy's brain had already surrounded the black-red demonic chi. A portion of it rushed over to join her. Yun Jioga's pupils shrank when she felt the power of Dummy's golden light. This power was actually very similar to divine power. It was just that her divine power had been refined to become extremely pure. It could fuse with her soul and become immortal. Dummy's golden light was filled with impurities. It had power but could not become a god. Even so, it was enough to shock Yun Jioga. If she could also obtain the power of this golden light, then it would be just a matter of time before she could recover her divine power. Although she was very tempted by this golden power, she wasn't immoral enough to devour Dummy's power. She immediately focused her mind and used all her strength to get rid of the demonic chi. Dummy's golden light worked with her and finally succeeded in completely getting rid of the demonic chi. Yun Jioga's dantian was completely emptied. Her body swayed and she almost fell to the ground. Chapter 497. Shang hurriedly supported Yunjioge, but she pushed his arm and urged him, "Quick, help me see how Dummy is doing." Ever since she discovered the secret of the golden light in Dummy's brain, Yunjioge's attention to it had soared. "It's fine. It will probably wake up in 2 or 3 days. After all, it's a brain injury. It won't heal so quickly." Shang quickly glanced at Dummy, then helped Yunjioge to sit down. He said angrily and helplessly, "You're working too hard for it. What if they encountered danger in the future if they used up all their divine power?" "It's fine." Yunjioge shook her head. She didn't tell Shang about the golden light. It wasn't that she didn't trust Shang, but Yin Shirley was there. It was hard to talk about divine power. Although Yin Shirley had already declared his loyalty to her, she was still a little afraid when she thought that he was sent by someone else. "Don't do that again." Shang knew that it was useless to say that. Yunjioge was very stubborn when it came to saving people. He could only take care of her. "Yes, yes." Yunjioge nodded perfunctorily. She said something else. "The beastmen are having a hard time now. Winter is coming soon. The food in my storage bag is just a drop in the bucket. We have to find a way to help them solve their food problem. Otherwise, they will still turn to that oracle. Do you have any way to help them grow crops like rice?" "Don't look at me. Whatever I plant will die." Yin Shirley immediately shook his head. He was a living corpse that could only absorb vitality. How could he grow crops? If she had known that the Yin corpse sect was so useless, she would have turned to the orthodox sections. Yunjioge thought to herself. Then she looked at Shang expectantly. "That's easy." Shang looked at Yunjioge speechlessly and said, "Why don't you just let little baby come out? It's a divine artifact that you made with the spirits of plants." There was a story about little baby. When Yunjioge had just become an adult, she suddenly wanted to make a sky garden. She ordered the people of the divine palace to collect countless seeds and started to set it up. Later, she felt that the flowers and trees grew too slowly. She collected the spirits of plants in preparation to make an artifact spirit that would be used to manage the garden. At that time, Yunjioge's divine power was at its most abundant. Whatever he casually forged was an extremely rare divine weapon. This was how the little baby was born. "Oh right, I forgot about it." Yunjioge had not played with plants for many years. In addition, the divine tripod had become a demonic tripod. She always had the illusion that it could only be used for alchemy. "You collected a lot of random seeds in the past. Maybe there's something useful in them." Although Yunjioge mainly collected flowers and trees, he didn't know how to use them. However, there were many plants that could be eaten, and some could bear fruit. "Let me ask." Yunjioge calmed his mind and began to call for the little baby. "Master, why are you looking for me?" The little baby immediately jumped out. "Help me find some seeds that are suitable to be planted on the land ravaged by death aura. They must be edible," Yunjioge instructed. "It's the aura of death. How can something good grow in such a broken place?" The little baby pouted. He had been with Yunjioge for so many years. If it wasn't a heaven-grade spirit field, he wouldn't be interested in it. He had never planted a land with death aura. "Stop being so long-winded. Just find it." Yunjioge's face darkened. She didn't have so much time to talk nonsense with this little baby. "Oh." The little baby stuck out his tongue. His little fat hand reached into his pocket and began to dig around. He muttered, "This 1,000-leaf flower can't do it. This 100 fragrant red fruit can't do it. This white jade flower can't do it. Hurry up." Yunjioge urged impatiently. Although communicating with the little baby consumed very little divine power, it was still a huge burden for her now. "Ah, I got it." The little baby's eyes lit up. He took out a fist-sized khaki seed from his pocket and said, "This is the grass that the grass tribe who lived in the desert of death provided. It has the most tenacious vitality and adaptability among all the spirit herbs." "What does this grass look like?" Yunjioge asked again. "When it rushes out, it will be a large piece of yellow grass." The little baby blinked his big eyes and said, "I heard that this grass is rich in water and has starch precipitation. It can be eaten by both humans and animals. In the past, The desert grass tribe relied on this thing to gain the faith of the Sand Nation. Then, they were able to enter the eyes of the divine palace. Although the little baby disdained the grass seed after receiving it, he still accepted it for the sake of the desert grass tribe's commendable sincerity. He didn't expect it to come in handy now. Okay, this is it. Why is there only one? One was too little. How long would it take for the beastmen to eat it? One is already very powerful. You just need to grind a little of this grass and scatter it anywhere. It will grow into a large piece. It will be edible in 2 days. The desert grass tribe attacked the goddess with the essence of the grass. No matter how much this seed was cut, it could grow back. It was no exaggeration to say that a fist-sized seed could be planted in half of the secret territory. I'll try it now. After Yunjioga left the Sea of Knowledge, a fist-sized yellow seed appeared in her hand. What kind of grass is this? Zishang took it and smelled it. It smelled like grass. Yin Shirley, who was squatting in the corner, also looked curious. The grass tribe says that it only needs a little to grow a large piece. It can be eaten by humans and animals. Why don't we go to the Naga tribe and try it? There were not many flat lands in Eagle Cliff. It was too wasteful to use it to test this. What about Dummy? Zishang looked at Dummy, who was sleeping soundly. Its little belly was bulging, and it was sleeping very soundly. Just put it in the spirit beast bag. As Yunjioga spoke, she put Dummy into her spirit beast bag. In this situation, it was safest to carry it around at all times. Squeeze to death, squeeze to death. Fei-Fei's dissatisfied scream pierced straight into Yunjioga's head. The treasure-seeking scorpion couple didn't say anything. Talk too much. Yunjioga rubbed her ears. How can they compare to me? I'm a girl. Fei-Fei felt wronged. The treasure-seeking scorpion couple was already an uncle and an aunt. They quickly lay on the fat bird and slept soundly. But with her clean body, she would never get close to a male bird that emitted a strong smell. Okay, then come out and follow me. Yunjioga thought of Fei-Fei's yin and yang body. Perhaps keeping it by his side would be of some use. Fei-Fei flew out impatiently and landed on Yunjioga's shoulder. She was about to start crying. Be obedient and you'll get spirit pills to eat. Yunjioga stuffed 2 spirit pills into Fei-Fei's mouth and told Zishang to call Zhe and military advisor. The 2 birdmen flew up and found that their prince was gone. They were shocked. Yunjioga had to show them his ability to collect spirit beasts to make them feel completely at ease. I'm going to the Naga tribe. Can you take us there? Yunjioga asked under Zhe's admiring gaze. Chapter 498. Of course, Elder Bai thought of this long ago. That's why we've brought out our precious seat for you. Zhe took out a green net from his pouch. After laying it flat, he used the hard white bone as a support and turned it into the shape of a very firm chair. The advisor and I will carry it. You just have to sit on it. Zhe showed the sturdy strap, indicating that this seat was absolutely safe. It looks pretty good. Yunjioga tugged at the green thread. It was indeed very firm. Even if it wasn't, it was fine. She still had the moon spirit thread. Are we going now? Zhe asked excitedly. Take this In Chen Bei out for a ride first. I still need to prepare some things. Yunjioga turned and sent In Shirley to Zhe and the military advisor. Oh, okay. Zhe thought that Yunjioga wanted to find someone to test the safety of the seat. He very enthusiastically placed In Shirley in the seat and flew away with the military advisor. In the blink of an eye, only Yunjioga and Zishang were left in the lair. Do you have something to say to me? Ziming asked Yunjioga. Yes. Yunjioga sent everyone away. Other than preparing some things for the cannibals, he also wanted to talk to Zishang about the golden light in Dummy's head. Are you sure the golden light in his head is similar to divine power? Zishang stared fervently at Yunjioga's spirit beast bag. He wished he could grab Dummy and crack open its brain to take a closer look. That's right. If I can absorb this energy, I'll be able to recover my divine power. Yunjioga nodded. When he noticed Zishang's expression, he quickly added, Dummy's brain isn't even enough to fill the gaps between my teeth. The most important thing is to find out what he's been eating. Yes, you're right. Shang nodded regretfully. In fact, he felt that Dummy could also absorb that golden light. It was better than nothing. However, thinking that Yunjioga would definitely not agree, it was better not to say it out loud and make her angry. Alright, let's go to the Naga tribe and test out the effects of eating grass. Yunjioga was full of fighting spirit. If he could subdue the orcs in the mystic realm by eating grass, he wouldn't have to be afraid of Ali no matter what he encountered in the future. Alright. Shang and Yunjioga shared the same thought. He even began to think about how he could use the Naga tribe and the Eagle tribe to rope in the surrounding tribes. Now was the crucial time to seize the initiative. Otherwise, if Nangong Yu were to spread her demonic energy, there would be trouble. Yunjioga took out the beef pancakes and pork jerky from his storage bag and filled it to the brim. Then he walked to the edge of the cliff and whistled. Hearing Yunjioga's whistle, Zhe and the advisor immediately flew back with Ian Shirley. Ian Shirley, who was sitting on the green chair, had a calm expression on his face, but his hair, which was hanging loosely behind him, was blown into a bird's nest. This seat is indeed not bad, but it doesn't have a windshield. Ian Shirley calmly pulled his hair down, secretly regretting that he didn't have the habit of tying up his hair. It's good that you're safe. You stay here and guard the house. Let's go. Yunjioga sat on a chair. Shang grabbed the leg of a Hawk tribe warrior and flew towards the Naga tribe. At this time, the Naga warriors were patrolling the vicinity of the Gaga grass to prevent their tribesmen from approaching. Seeing a few black spots in the sky from afar, he immediately blew his horn. When he saw Yunjioga and Shang, he immediately cheered, "Lady Yun, Master Yi Zi, you're back." After landing safely, Yunjioga walked towards Meng. Did anything happen in the tribe recently? Did anyone from the Divine Messenger come to find you? No, the tribe has been very safe recently. It's just that food is getting harder and harder to find. There aren't many orcs on the Divine Messenger's side that can fly. Currently, no one has come to our tribe. Meng looked at Yunjioga with fervent eyes. He had been thinking about Yunjioga's promise to solve their tribe's food problem day and night. I came to find you today to solve the food problem, but I want to see the little Nagas and the rest first. The food Yunjioga brought today was specially prepared for the little Nagas, the old, the weak, the women and the children. Okay, the little Nagas and the rest are under the tree. Last time, they came out to bask in the sun and felt much more energetic. They aren't as soft as before. Now, we bring them out to bask in the sun every day, Meng introduced. However, they had to wear a hood every time they basked in the sun, so they didn't stay too long. Most of the time, they still stayed in the wooden house. This is good. Yunjioga came to the big tree in front of the nursery. He saw 5 little Nagas crawling on the ground, their short green tails wriggling. They were indeed much better than last time. What did they eat today? Yunjioga looked at the female Huahua who was in charge of taking care of the little Nagas. They ate little bugs, little mice, little swallows. Huahua waved her fingers as she introduced them. Yunjioga looked at the little Nagas' flat bellies. In such a difficult situation, it was already very rare for the tribe to be able to save food for the sick and weak. It was impossible for them to eat well. I have a bag of food here for the little ones. Yunjioga handed the food he prepared to Meng. Thank you so much. Meng took the bag excitedly. After opening it, he found a lot of jerky. Just the smell alone told him that it was delicious and filling. He resisted the urge to drool and put away the bag. He said to Yunjioga solemnly, "Don't worry, Miss Yun. I'll definitely leave these things for the cubs. I won't steal them for myself. I trust you." Yunjioga felt sorry for the skinny Nagas when he saw how serious Meng was. He looked at them with hungry eyes. He initially wanted to give the little Nagas a checkup before making them eat grass, but it seemed like he had to take care of this first. Meng, I'm going to try to grow something called grass eating here. I need a wide piece of land. It doesn't need to be too fertile, but it's fine too, Yunjioga said. There's a piece of land behind our tribe that was originally going to grow gaga grass, but some places were polluted by the aura of death. Can you take a look? Meng said eagerly. Ever since the Black Rain, there was less land suitable for plants to grow in the hidden realm. Although the Gaga grass's adaptability was not bad, it could not grow in a place polluted by the death chi. If the food that Lady Yun brought could adapt better than the Gaga grass, it would be a great thing for their tribe and all the beastmen in the arcane realm. Sure, bring me there first. Yun Jioga followed Meng to the back of the tribe and saw a large piece of land with black and brown stripes. The black color was due to the aura of death, while the brown color was normal land. Chapter 499. Miss Yun, do you think this land is okay? Meng asked. This land wasn't so polluted before, but as time passed, there was more and more black. Yes. Yun Jioga nodded and said to Fei Fei, can you convert the death chi on this land into life force? This was Yun Jioga's first time growing food in front of the orcs. He had to succeed to shock them. Of course. Fei Fei flapped its black and white wings and flew to the land. It started circling from the edge. Black death chi flew from the ground into its left black wing and then extended to the right white wing. Then, it turned into life force and returned to the land. The modeled land began to change. As Fei Fei moved forward, there was less and less black and more brown. Meng rubbed his eyes, afraid that he was seeing things. The dead land is really reviving, it's really reviving. The Nagas were all very excited. Even Aze and military advisor were very excited. Although the Eagle men weren't good at farming, as long as there was living land, there would be more life force. This was great news for the entire secret realm. This must be the legendary divine beast, Meng yelled. Greetings, divine beastmaster. The Nagas all cheered. Divine beastmaster is mighty. Fei Fei heard the orc's undisguised praise and felt very proud. She raised her proud head and flapped her black and white wings even more vigorously. She didn't feel tired at all flying around. Okay, come back quickly. Yun Jioga saw that Fei Fei had already played too much and quickly called it back. There's still a little bit that hasn't been converted. Fei Fei looked at the black at the corner. It would feel uncomfortable if it wasn't cleaned. I have a use for that bit. Yun Jioga still needed to test the situation of eating grass in the dead land. Okay. Fei Fei returned to Yun Jioga's shoulder unwillingly. Its small eyes were still staring at the black death chi. Good girl, there will be opportunities for you to perform in the future. Yun Jioga fed her 2 cherry pills. This secret realm was full of dead lands. She could play all she wanted, but she might not want to play anymore. Miss Yun, did you bring this divine beast? Meng Qi looked at Fei Fei fervently. Such a small, cute, and special butterfly was definitely not born in this damned place. It's called Fei Fei. It's just a little butterfly with some abilities. It's not some mythological beast. Don't flatter it too much, lest it becomes lazy and doesn't work in the future, Yun Jioga said half-jokingly. Fei Fei, this tsundere, was already very difficult to discipline normally. If she were to be praised to the skies by these orcs, would she still want to live? Yes. Meng immediately shut his mouth, fearing that Fei Fei would really give up his work. All right, step back a little. I am going to start planting the grass. Yun Jioga took out the grass-eating essence that he had ground earlier and blew it toward the empty space before him. The yellow powder was scattered all over the ground. Then, it began to slowly protrude outwards, and small yellow grass seeds emerged. Little kid, lend me some of your wood power. Yun Jioga was determined to perform a miracle in front of the orcs. Oh! The adorable little baby reluctantly transferred his power of nature into Yun Jioga's body. A faint green spot appeared in Yun Jioga's hand. She flicked it toward the small yellow grass, and the fine green light rippled like a gentle green wave. The small grass that smelled the grass-eating essence desperately emerged, and soon grew into an incomparably thick yellow grass. Each of them was as thick as an adult's thumb, and they looked very sturdy. All right. Yun Jioga looked at the large patch of yellow grass and felt very proud. Sure enough, a good harvest made people happy. How do I eat this? Is it the same as Gaga grass? Meng asked hesitantly. Although orcs could also eat vegetables, fruits, and grass, they were carnivores after all. Eating too much grass would make them nauseous. It's not the same. This is mainly eaten after it's cooked. Yun Jioga broke off a grass-eating grass and saw that the broken section was solid white, similar to rice. Then, she dug down the roots of the grass-eating grass. Each of them was as round as a potato, and they were also very filling. Moreover, when the grass-eating grass matured, it would automatically produce grass seeds, and so, even if all the grass-eating grass was dug up, they would immediately germinate after a rain. At most, they could be eaten in 7 days. It could be said to be a treasure that could resist hunger. Then how about we try it now? Meng said impatiently. As long as they could eat their fill, they could even eat grass. Gaga grass could not fill them, and eating too much would make their stomach feel empty. You guys cut the grass and rice down now, then break the outer yellow shell. The other group of people will dig out the potatoes underneath. Yun Jioga gave the big grass eaters a new name without any creativity. Miss Yun, how do we break this grass? Meng pinched it lightly, and the yellow and white colors were all crushed together. Just use the right amount of strength to crush their shells. Yun Jioga roughly explained the meaning of shedding the shells. The intelligent and capable Naga quickly grasped it. They cut a batch of grass-eating grass and placed it on the ground. With a roll of their tails, they easily shed their shells, leaving behind the white grass. Don't throw away these grass shells. We can feed them to those herbivores such as elk. Yun Jioga saw quite a few starving herbivores. Many plants that survived in the black rain had mutated into a poisonous red color. There was very little green left. If these animals really starved to death, it would definitely be a terrifying disaster. They won't eat it even if we take it. Meng said with difficulty. Those guys were cunning and avoided them when they saw them from afar. You guys collect them and let the eagle race feed them in their territory. Yun Jioga planned to spread the grass-eating grass, especially in places with the most animals, such as the river or the depths of the forest. Only by maintaining the ecological balance would this secret realm not continue to decline. Okay, we'll do it immediately. Meng nodded. He felt this Miss Yun was a very kind person. Following her was definitely the right choice. I'll go pluck the silk grass now. The nets weaved from it are the best, Ah Zhe volunteered. The silk grass grew on the other side of the blue water lake. It would take the Naga a long time to swim over. Go! Yun Jioga nodded. He was very happy to see the Naga and eagle race coexisting peacefully. Ah Zhe immediately took the 2 eagle race warriors and flew away. Then let's start a fire and cook the grass potatoes first. Meng looked at the pile of grass potatoes on the side and almost drooled. He wanted to eat them raw. Chapter 500. Let's cook it. Yun Jioga also wanted to know how the roots tasted and if they could fill their stomachs. Meng immediately organized the Nagas to build a bonfire and put a big stone basin of water on it. Then they started a fire. Another group of Nagas were busy washing the round potatoes and throwing them into the water. By the way, I remember that Dummy can breathe fire. Don't you Nagas have similar special abilities? Yun Jioga asked Meng. His Highness Ling Fei of the eagle race, other than being very fat, has the special ability to breathe fire. That was given to him by God. The other orcs don't have it. Meng shook his head. Other than their bodies being stronger than wild beasts, there was nothing special about them. That was why they were so helpless when the black rain came. Oh! Yun Jioga nodded. It seemed that Dummy's fireball had something to do with the golden light in his head. He didn't know where the golden light came from and what it had to do with this secret land. Yun Jioga was getting more and more curious. At this time, Ah Zhe descended from the sky with a large pile of gray grass. He kept shouting, "The grass is here! The grass is here!" Meng immediately told his people to distribute the grass and weave a net to sift out the shells. Thanks for your hard work, Ah Zhe. Yun Jioga smiled. It wasn't hard at all. Ah Zhe grinned and wiped the sweat off his forehead. The military counselor silently handed over a cup of water. Ah Zhe drank while staring at the big stone pot. Then he spat the water on the military counselor. Wow, the water is boiling. The potatoes are floating. Ah Zhe didn't see anything and pointed at the stone pot excitedly. The military counselor wiped the water off his face. He wanted to press Zay's head into the stone pot and cook it. Miss Yun, is it edible? Meng gulped. Yellow bulbs the size of eggs floated up and down, emitting a faint aroma. It should be about time. You guys try one that floats up first. Yun Jioga wasn't sure if it was cooked. Let me do it. Zay wanted to reach his hand into the pot but was slapped away by the military advisor. This is the Naga race's pot. It should be Chief Meng who does it first. Since they were going to form an alliance, they had to respect each other. The military advisor was very particular about rules. It doesn't matter who comes, but it's too dangerous for Brother Zay to use his hands. It's better to use something. But I think it's better to let Lady Yun go first. Meng fawningly handed a wooden spoon with a long handle to Yun Jioga. This was something he had made in a hurry. Bootlicker, Zay muttered to himself. He regretted not thinking of this. The military counselor also felt that Meng's move was too despicable. It was simply shameless to flatter Yun Jioga. Yun Jioga couldn't help but find it funny as he watched the battle between the Eagle tribe and the Naga tribe. Let me do it in case the water splashes on you. In the end, it was Zi Shang who made a move. He scooped up all the floating potatoes and placed them into a large stone bowl beside him. I'll help you taste it first. Zi Shang naturally wanted to be the first person to test the poison. He opened the potato and revealed the yellow fruit inside. He took a bite and slowly nodded. It's okay, it's edible. I'll try. Yun Jioga took the other half from Zi Shang and put it in his mouth. It was a bit sweet and glutinous. It tasted good, at least a bit better than the potatoes. He just didn't know if it suited the orc's taste. All of you try it? Yun Jioga let Meng distribute the potatoes. They cooked 20 potatoes this time. The orcs who could try it were very limited. Zay was impatient and couldn't wait to eat it. Then he touched his stomach and said in surprise, "Sigh, my stomach doesn't seem that hungry anymore." It's small, but the portion is enough. It's much better than the gaga grass. The military counselor chewed slowly and gave a very high evaluation. Oh my God, it's too delicious. Meng took a bite and exclaimed exaggeratedly. His beautiful face showed the most sincere expression. He said to Yun Jioga, "Thank you, Lady Yun, for bringing precious food to our tribe." The other Nagas also got up to express their gratitude. Despicable. Zay gritted his teeth. Why didn't he think of this? The military counselor felt he lost again. The Eagle race had to be even more shameless to deal with a despicable snake man like Meng. They definitely couldn't let Meng get ahead of them next time. No need to be so polite. Hurry up and cook the rice. Everyone will have a full meal tonight, Yun Jioga said. Good. When the serpent men heard the word full, they exclaimed in unison. Okay, I'm going to see the little Nagas. You guys continue. It would be enough for them to harvest all the grass. I'll go with you. Wei, you stay here. Meng threw everything to his men. He was determined to take this opportunity to improve his favorability. Let's go. Yun Jioga returned to the little Nagas. The 5 little Nagas had just eaten the food Yun Jioga brought and were lying comfortably on the grass mat under the tree. Hearing Yun Jioga and the others coming over, the 5 little Nagas stood up at the same time and said in a soft voice, "Thank you, Lady Yun, for bringing the food. You're the best person in the world. Without you, we'd be dead. Thank you for saving us." Although these words were obviously taught by adults, Yun Jioga was very satisfied with the little Naga's current state compared to before when they couldn't even straighten their bodies. These children were very tenacious. They were indeed beastmen. This way, she could help them solve some problems before Dummy woke up. Fei, can you get rid of the death chi in their bodies? Yun Jioga asked Fei. A large part of the little Naga's demonic chi was made up of death chi. If they could get rid of this part, they could leave that dark wooden house and return to their parents. No, their death chi is all inside their bodies. I can't get rid of it if I can't touch it. Fei shook its head. It could only get rid of the death chi that was exposed on the ground. The death chi in a person's body was wrapped in layers of things. It really couldn't do it. Yun Jioga thought about it and asked, What if I have a way for you to touch their bodies? Then I have the confidence to help them get rid of it. Fei Fei looked at the little Nagas who were stunted and felt very sorry for them. Okay, then you take a rest and be ready to work at any time. Yun Jioga closed his eyes and called out to the little baby again. Help me find a plant that's as long as an arm, as thick as a little finger, hollow inside, and contains a little spiritual power. Chapter 501. Master, why do you always ask me to find such uncreative things? The little baby was dissatisfied. Thinking back to the sky garden that he was in charge of, the most beautiful spiritual flowers and spiritual trees in the world were planted. The entire garden was filled with dense spiritual power and the fragrance of flowers. How enjoyable that was! If I ask you to find it, then find it. I don't have much divine power left. If you waste my time talking nonsense, believe it or not, I'll seal you into the big grass eater. Yun Jioga threatened. I don't want to go to that disgusting place. This kind of thing that could be eaten by humans and beasts was simply lowering its style. The little baby didn't dare to say any more. He quickly found something that met Yun Jioga's requirements and quickly planted it. Yun Jioga opened her eyes, and there were 5 pure white and soft plants that looked like sheep intestines in her hands. She pinched the heads of the 5 sheep intestines into sharp shapes, and then fused the other end together. Little kids, I'll stab this sharp head into your hands later, but you don't have to be afraid. This is for healing, it won't be very painful, Yun Jioga said softly to the little snake people. The little snake people didn't say anything, but the tips of their taut tails showed how nervous they were. Good kids, be obedient. After you're healed, you'll still have meat pancakes to eat. Yun Jioga used his trump card. The little snake people's eyes lit up and they immediately rushed to stretch out their arms. Whip mine, whip mine. To them, there was nothing more terrifying than hunger. You guys lie down first. Yun Jioga made the 5 little snake people's heads form a circle inwards, and then he stabbed the sharp heads of the 5 tubes into the little snake people's blood vessels. Then he called Fei Fei over. Try and see if you can touch the death energy in their bodies like this. Yun Jioga tied the big head to Fei Fei's black wings. Yes, but it's a little slow. Fei Fei stopped on the branch above the little snake people's heads and began to slowly flap its wings. Waves of black color flowed from the little snake people's bodies to Fei Fei's shoulders through the tubes, and then it turned into life energy that landed on their bodies. The pale skin of the 5 little Nagas slowly regained some color, and the dull color of their little snake tails also regained some luster. Very good, Fei Fei, keep it up. Yun Jioga shouted to Fei Fei. Fei Fei did not leave her, but continued to maintain the rhythm. The black substance in the bodies of these little snakes was very viscous. They couldn't be waved around randomly like they were dealing with the soil. They had to be precise and rhythmic. Seeing that Fei Fei was serious, Yun Jioga didn't dare to disturb it again, so he stayed by the side obediently. The scales on the tails of the 5 little Nagas became brighter and brighter, as if they had been dipped in oil, emitting a rich vitality. Miss Yun, can these little bastards be saved? Meng asked excitedly and nervously. I'm just extracting the deathly aura from their bodies. I can't cure them completely. But don't worry, the cure won't be too far away. Yun Jioga was afraid that Meng would give up on these little Nagas. All right, then I'll thank you on their behalf. Meng Long nodded his head. Right now, the tribe was willing to raise the little Nagas because they were still young. When they reached adulthood, they would have to feed themselves. If they were too weak, they would definitely die. At this moment, Zhe turned around and happily said to Yun Jioga, Miss Yun, the rice is cooked. It's so fragrant. I'm so full after just one bowl. God knows how long it had been since he had a full stomach. Miss Yun, try it. Military advisor brought over a clean stone bowl. There was light yellow rice inside, emitting a faint aroma. It was very delicious. Yun Jioga tasted a mouthful. The rice was a bit coarse and hard to chew. There was no spirit force inside, but she still felt full. But with her current appetite, she was full after half a bowl. It wasn't good to throw away the rest, so she gave it to Zishang. Zishang silently took it and poured it all into his mouth. Miss Yun, can we plant these rice at Eagle Cliff? Aze asked eagerly. These herbivores were really good to grow and filled. It would be great if they could promote it at Eagle Cliff. Many of their partners were herbivores. He even thought that if Eagle Cliff had a source of food, the Eagle tribe wouldn't be afraid of being single anymore. Eagle Cliff can plant them. Just scatter them on the walls, but it's not easy to harvest. Yun Jioga found that the roots of these herbivores were very tough. They could even pierce through rocks, so planting them on the walls was no problem. That's no problem, you just need to help us plant them. We'll think about the rest ourselves. Military advisor quickly said. As long as there was food, harvesting was no problem. They could even pull them out one by one. Okay, I'll help you plant them when I get back. Yun Jioga nodded. Even without Dummy, seeing that the Eagle tribe never joined Nangongyu, she was worth training. Then I'll send someone back to Eagle Cliff now. No, I'll go back myself. Aze, you stay here and guard Miss Yun. Military advisor felt that sending anyone was unreliable when it came to food. It was better to do it himself. Go, I'll be here. Aze patted his chest. Meng, bring some rice and potatoes for them to see, Yun Jioga said to Meng. I'll go prepare it now. Meng personally took a huge brown leather bag and kept stuffing the rice and potatoes inside. It's enough, I can't carry it if it's too heavy. Military advisor quickly stopped him. Miss Yun was going to plant at Eagle Cliff later anyway. There was no need to act like a hungry ghost. Okay, take it. Meng handed the bag over. Although his heart was bleeding, he felt much better when he turned his head and saw the large patch of grass. Military advisor took the bag and flapped his wings to fly to Eagle Cliff. He wanted to go directly to Grandpa's place, but he found many people sighing in front of a goose nest. The goose cries could be faintly heard. Wake up. What's wrong? Military advisor quickly flew over. Goo's partner fainted. She's been calling for a long time, but she can't wake up, an eagle man replied. Let me see. Military advisor quickly threw the bag to the corner and strode in. Goo's lair was very clean and tidy. At this moment, the petite rabbit girl was lying on the ground covered with hay. Her skinny body was like a small ball. Her partner, Goo, hugged her tightly and couldn't breathe. Goo, what's wrong with Gua? Military advisor asked. I don't know. She suddenly fainted. She won't wake up no matter what. Military advisor, don't you know a Miss Yun who can treat illnesses? Can you ask her to take a look at Gua? Goo begged. Let her go first and let me take a look, military advisor said in a low voice. Goo hurriedly laid the fruit flat. He saw Gua's long ears drooping down listlessly. Her face was yellow and her eyes were closed. She was extremely skinny. Her limbs were long and thin, but her stomach was slightly bulging. She looked a little pregnant. Chapter 502. Ping, bring your partner over to see if Wuper is pregnant. Although the orcs didn't care about male and female intimacy, he hadn't had a child before, so he had to find an experienced orc. An older orc immediately brought his bull tribe companion over. The man with horns on his head, who was also skinny, touched Gwur's belly and said with a nod, That's right. She's pregnant. Gwur is actually pregnant, but why did she faint? Goo asked in a low voice. He was exhausted from looking for food every day and fell asleep as soon as he came back. He didn't even notice Gwur was pregnant. Damn it. Pregnant females have bigger appetites. She's hungry. The oxman sighed. Although Goo had tried very hard, food was too hard to find. Gwur was introverted and patient. She wouldn't tell Goo no matter how hungry she was. I'll go find food for her now. Goo was about to rush out. The military counselor quickly stopped Goo and said, I just got some food from the Naga tribe. You can give it to Gwur later. What food? Goo said warily. We don't eat gaga grass. Everyone in the Eagle Men knew there was something wrong with the gaga grass. Do you think I'm stupid? It's the food that Miss Yun made. Bring some back for me to try. Oh right, where's my grandpa? The military counselor looked around and didn't find his grandpa. Usually, when something like this happened, the grandpa would take the lead and be the first to rush over. I don't know. I don't see him. I think he's in the nursery. No, I saw him come out of the nursery and go to the warehouse. The eagle men all talked at once. I'll go find him. Cook these for Gua. The military counselor poured out a dozen potatoes and flew to the warehouse with the rest of the food. The wooden door of the warehouse was half open. A skinny figure lay in front of it. Grandpa. The military counselor was scared out of his wits. He rushed over to help the grandpa up. The grandpa's face was yellow, his lips were cracked, and his breath was weak. Ling Ahui, come here quickly. After arranging for his tribesmen to take care of the old man, the military advisor immediately flew to the Naga territory to find Yunjioga. At that moment, Yunjioga was examining the little Naga who had just finished healing. Very good, most of the death aura on your body has disappeared. You won't be afraid of light anymore. Take off the hood. Yunjioga personally took off the black hood on the heads of the 5 little Nagas. This was the first time she had seen the little Nagas. Unlike the little chicks of the Eagle Man race, these little snake people were all quite beautiful. Their eyelashes were especially long, and their pale skin gave off a sinister vibe, giving them a dark sense of beauty. Although Yunjioga wasn't obsessed with appearances, he was still very happy to see that the child he saved was so cute. Patriarch, father, mother. The 5 little Nagas opened their eyes. The first thing they saw was their chief, who had been protecting them, and then their parents. Children, come here quickly. The parents of the 5 little Nagas rushed forward to hug their children. The Naga race didn't have countless eggs in one litter like snakes. Most of them laid 1 egg at a time, and it was already good to have 2, so the babies were just as precious to them. Fei was very touched by the tears of the little Naga's family reunion. It landed beside Yunjioga and said in a low voice, "This is the first time I feel that it's not bad to evolve into this appearance." But did you not like your appearance in the past? Yunjioga was surprised. Fei had always been very smug and confident, and she thought that Fei liked her appearance a lot. Yes, it's a little boring to only have black and white. I like colors. Fei dreamed that it could become a colorful butterfly, sprinkling beautiful spirit light instead of black death aura. However, after saving these 5 little Nagas today, its heart was filled with a strong sense of pride, which made it happier than its appearance. Although your body is only black and white, it's fine as long as your heart is colored. Yunjioga patted Fei's head. This smug and pretentious little guy finally realized its importance. Fei nodded. Suddenly, a warm current surged from its chest and surged toward the wings on both sides. The black and white wings suddenly emitted a faint light, and in the end, they turned into 2 Tai Chi fish imprinted on the wings. It's evolved? Zishang was surprised. The yin-yang reincarnation butterfly was a strange creature in the world. It was already very miraculous for it to be formed, and evolving was even more difficult. He had seen a yin-yang reincarnation butterfly evolve once every 100 years, and it had to be fed countless spirit herbs to accumulate. In his eyes, Fei was completely free-range. Other than the 2 bottles of spirit beast pills every month, he usually fed it a few pills when he was praising it, and it actually evolved. If this got out, people's jaws would probably drop. However, other than Yunjioga, no one else would casually take out the yin-yang reincarnation butterfly and use it. They basically kept it in the spirit garden for fear of being seen. This pattern is so ugly. Fei looked at the black and white fish in disgust. No, it's very beautiful. Continue to work hard, and one day, it will definitely give birth to the most beautiful pattern in the world. Yunjioga comforted perfunctorily. That's a must. Fei was happy again. Meng, who had been silently observing from the side, did not know what had happened to the little butterfly, but he instinctively guessed that it should be something good. He said happily, "Miss Yun, today is really a joyous occasion. Our tribe plans to hold a bonfire banquet. Please stay and celebrate with us." Their tribe had not held a bonfire banquet for a long time, so he decided to properly celebrate and build a good relationship with Yunjioga. Sure. Yunjioga nodded. She also wanted to properly rope in the Naga tribe, and then ask about Nangong Yu's situation, as well as the surrounding tribes that could be reclaimed. Then I will give the order now. Meng excitedly announced the order to the Naga tribe. They would hold a bonfire banquet tonight, and they would all be provided with grass, rice, and potatoes. The Naga tribe let out a deafening cheer. The military advisor had arrived at this moment. Miss Yun, it's bad. My grandfather has fainted. The military advisor suddenly landed in front of Yun Jioga and shouted. What happened to Elder Bai? He was fine when they left. I don't know. When I returned, I saw him fainting in front of the warehouse, and he still hasn't woken up, the military advisor said anxiously. Then let's go back immediately. Yun Jioga made a prompt decision. Elder Bai was the spiritual leader of the Eaglemen tribe. If something happened to him, the Eaglemen tribe would definitely fall into chaos. This was something she absolutely did not want to see. Chapter 503. Lady Yun, Master Yizi, do you want to bring some food back? Meng asked with concern. There's no need for that. Just stay here. I'll visit you again when I'm free. Remember to keep an eye on Oracle Xin. Forget about the bonfire party, Yun Jioga reminded them before he left. If she and Zishang were here, they would be able to block out the noise of the Naga race, but it wasn't suitable now. Lady Yun and Master Yizi, don't worry. I know what to do. Meng wasn't dumb. The elder of the eagle race was in critical condition, but they were holding a bonfire party here. Wasn't that stupid? Okay. Yun Jioga nodded and sat on the seat of the eagle race. They quickly flew towards Eagle Cliff. The outside of Elder Bai's cave was filled with eaglemen. All of them had a pained and lost expression. Ever since the old chief sacrificed himself to protect them, Elder Bai became their spiritual leader. No matter how hard the days were, they could survive. If Elder Bai left, what would happen to the eagle race? His Highness had become an idiot. Advisor was smart but lacking courage. Zhe was brave but lacking a brain. Who else could lead the eagle race? Everyone move aside, Lady Yun is here, Zhe yelled from afar. All the eaglemen moved aside and let Zhe and the others fly in. As soon as Zishang landed, he protected Yun Jioga and walked into Elder Bai's cave. Elder Bai was still unconscious. If it wasn't for the occasional rise and fall of his chest, he would look no different from a dead man. Yun Jioga checked Elder Bai's pulse and frowned. Elder Bai was old and worried for a long time. He was at the end of his rope. Lady Yun, how's my grandpa? Advisor asked. I can wake him up, but he probably doesn't have much time left. Yun Jioga shook her head. Advisor's eyes reddened. He gritted his teeth and didn't beg Yun Jioga to save his grandpa. He just asked, how long does my grandpa have left? If he recuperates well, he should have a year left. However, remember not to be tired, angry, and worried. You must rest well. Yun Jioga said 1 year too much. How long until His Highness wakes up? Advisor asked. Dummy will wake up in 7 days at most. Dummy was in the most important period of recovery, so Yun Jioga didn't dare to forcibly wake him up. Alright, then I'll have to trouble Miss Yun to wake my grandfather up first. The military counselor bowed deeply to Yun Jioga. Yun Jioga took out the thunder fire needles and pierced them into Elder Bai's meridians, the Tai Yang and the Hoku acupoints. Elder Bai shuddered and slowly opened his eyes. He looked at the military counselor and Yun Jioga in confusion and asked hoarsely, What's wrong with me? Grandpa, you were so tired that you collapsed at the entrance of the warehouse just now, the military counselor said while suppressing his sadness. Looks like I'm really getting old. I originally wanted to go to the warehouse to see if there was anything to take out for the kid, but I didn't expect to collapse just as I reached the door. Elder Bai shook his head helplessly. Just as he was about to get up, he was held down by the military counselor. Grandfather, Miss Yun said that you only have 1 year left to live. You must rest quietly and not tire yourself out. However, His Royal Highness will wake up in 7 days. Elder Bai was stunned for a moment. Then he nodded calmly and said, All right. I can see His Royal Highness wake up with my own eyes. I can be considered to be worthy of the deceased patriarch. He knew his body very well. He had long been unable to do as he wished and had been holding on by force. When he collapsed this time, he thought that he was going to see the old patriarch. He didn't expect to live for another year. It was not bad. Grandpa, there's another good news. Miss Yun has grown food. It's called grass rice and grass potatoes. The military counselor walked to the entrance of the cave and shouted, "Do you still have the boiled grass potatoes left?" "Yes, yes, yes." A goose voice came from afar. Then he brought 9 cooked grass potatoes over. The military counselor had left 12 potatoes, and he cooked all of them. Gua ate 3 and said that she didn't want to eat any more. She asked him to send the food back to the military counselor. Military counselor took the 9 grass potatoes and gave 2 to a Gu. Now that Gua has children, you have to take care of them. You also have to pay attention to yourself. Once the children were born, they would have one more mouth to feed, and they would be very tired. A Gu didn't reject it. He thought that he would return it to the military counselor when he could find more food. The military counselor placed the grass potatoes in front of his grandpa and bragged about the magic of grass eating. Finally, he said, "Other than this grass potato, there's also grass rice. It's very fragrant when cooked. It's very filling." "That's right. I ate 2 bowls there. I'm very full. I'm full now. I can fly 5 laps around Blue Water Lake without a problem." Zay patted his belly and said to Elder Bai, "Is that grass eating really that easy to grow?" Elder Bai looked at Yun Jioga eagerly and excitedly as if he was looking at a god. "Later, I can help you plant all the rock walls here. You just have to harvest like this," Yun Jioga said. "No problem, you can plant it on this side of the wall. When the time comes, I'll ask them to open up a plank road on the side and make a rope ladder from the top. Even the partners of the eagle tribe can be harvested." Elder Bai immediately told him what he was thinking. "You can also plant it in our nest," Zay said while drooling. Thinking about sleeping in food made him smile even in his dreams. Grass eating isn't suitable for growing in caves. Yun Jioga shook his head. However, Eagle Cliff's rock wall area was limited. It probably wouldn't be enough for them to eat even if they were all planted. She had to find something more suitable for them. It would be best if she could plant it in their nest. Thus, she went to find the little baby and told him her request. There's a kind of moss that's quite suitable for them. It tastes bad, but at least it can fill their stomachs. The little baby had already understood the current situation of the orcs in Yun Jioga's Sea of Consciousness. He organized all the seeds in the demonic tripod. There were many seeds, but they were all extremely precious and required extremely high spirit chi. Like the big grass eater, it could only find a green moss after rummaging through the whole place. This moss had been a tribute from the merfolk. It was said that it could grow in the sea or by the river. It would glow with a light green light, and it was fat and delicious. "Okay, this is it. Show me." Then, Yun Jioga had a palm-sized green crystal in his hand. Luckily, the seeds that those races had offered were all essence. They just needed to be ground up to grow quickly. If it was an ordinary seed, it would take a long time to grow and the chances of dying were very high. "Miss Yun, what is this?" Zay looked curiously at Yun Jioga's hand and then pinched his own as though curious about how something could grow on its own. Chapter 504. This is green moss. You can plant it in your cave. You can eat it when it grows. It's not as good as eating grass, but it's not bad. Yun Jioga showed the moss to everyone. "Then let's try it." Zay said impatiently. "Then let's try it at Elder Bai's place. You guys go get a bucket of clean water and 2 baskets of mud." Yun Jioga felt that if Elder Bai could see food every day when he opened his eyes, he might be able to live longer. I'll go. Zay immediately flapped his wings and flew out. The eagle men guarding the door heard that they were going to plant food and immediately followed him excitedly. Soon, a large stone vat of water and 2 baskets of yellow mud were placed in front of Yun Jioga. "You tell me I'll plant it?" Zi Shang didn't want Yun Jioga to touch the dirty mud. "First, rub a few layers of mud evenly on the cave walls," Yun Jioga said. "This is easy, there's no need for Master Yi Zi to do it herself. I'll do it. If there's anything wrong, Miss Yun, you can tell me." Aze was smart for once. He was excited to plant the food himself. Okay, you do it. Yun Jioga nodded. This was easy. Zi Shang didn't have to do it himself. Aze quickly rubbed the mud on the cave walls. It looked very even. Okay, that's it. Yun Jioga saw that the thickness was about right and quickly stopped Aze. She ground some of the moss into powder and sprinkled it evenly on the soil. She said, "Continue to spread it." Aze rubbed 2 more layers. The entire cave was filled with the smell of wet mud. That's it. If it's dry tomorrow morning, sprinkle some water. It'll grow in 2 days at most. Yun Jioga didn't use her wood spirit power on the moss. After all, they were going to plant eating grass later. They had to be frugal. 2 more days. Aze was a little disappointed. He thought it would grow out immediately like grass. 2 days is very fast. Leave the moss first. We'll go plant eating grass now. Yun Jioga's words got Aze's attention. Okay. Aze nodded and then asked hesitantly, will the grass grow out immediately like the Nagas? Shut up. Elder Bai picked up a stone from the ground and threw it at Aze. He said angrily, it's already a great gift for Miss Yun to help us grow food. How dare you ask for more? I'm just asking. Aze shrunk his head and didn't dare to make a sound. Food was too important. The sooner he saw the grass grow, the better he would be. Don't worry, it will grow out immediately, just like the snake men. Yun Jioga only planned to use his wood power here with the Eagle Men tribe one more time. He wouldn't be able to do the same to any other tribe he came to seek shelter with. Great, thank you, Miss Yun. Aze burst into joy. Then let's go. Yun Jioga had originally wanted the Eagle tribe to carry her around the cliff, but Zi Shang had snatched this job away. In Zi Shang's eyes, Yun Jioga was fragile. Unless it was absolutely necessary, he did not want her to take the risk. Scatter it evenly. Yun Jioga gave the grass seeds to Zi Shang. She trusted him wholeheartedly. Zi Shang didn't say anything. This little thing was too easy for her. After 1 round, the grass powder was scattered all over the cliff. Yun Jioga tricked and coaxed some more plant essence from the cute baby and used it on these grass seeds. A large patch of yellow grass spread on the gray cliff. It was extremely shocking. The Eagle Men tribe shouted excitedly. Cheerful shouts and laughter rang out incessantly. Do you see? We won't have to worry about food anymore. The child will definitely be born well, Agu said happily while hugging Gua. Gua smiled shyly, showing her 2 rabbit teeth. She stared at the long yellow grass outside without blinking. There was so much food. The Eagle Men tribe couldn't finish it at all. It would be great if she could bring some for her tribe. They would definitely love it. As soon as the idea popped up in Gua's mind, she gave it up. She was already with Agu. She should think about the Eagle Men tribe. Otherwise, it would only bring trouble to Agu. Yun Jioga planted all the grass and instructed the Eagle Men to harvest it. Soon, the Eagle Men weaved a rope ladder out of the silk grass and animal skins and tied it firmly to the tree at the top of the cliff. After that, they hung a basket made of grass and an animal skin bag on their chests and hung it on the rope ladder, harvesting the plants. After 1 batch was harvested, the other batch started digging the potatoes. They were not slow either. While the Eagle Men tribe was harvesting the grass, Yun Jioga and Fei Fei extracted the death aura from Shuei and the other young Eagle Men. The devil chi on their bodies was lighter than that of the little serpentin. After pulling out part of the devil chi, they would immediately recover. Shuei could even flap his little wings and fly low in the cave, happily flying around him up and down. You must be tired too. Go back and rest. Zi Shang said firmly to Yun Jioga with a gentle attitude. Yes, Miss Yun, Master Yi Zi, go back and rest. Don't tire yourself out. Elder Bai nodded. Yun Jioga also felt sore all over. She nodded and returned to Dummy's nest under the protection of Aze and military advisor. Although Aze really wanted to stay at Eagle Cliff and harvest the grass with everyone, he reluctantly gave up when he thought of Elder Bai's warning. The most important person in the entire secret realm was Yun Jioga. As long as she was here, food wouldn't be a problem. Without her, the orc race would return to the poor and hungry state of the past. It might even be more difficult. Thinking of this, Aze wanted to stay by Yunjioga's bed every night. Okay, you can go back. We don't need you here. Yunjioga waved the overly enthusiastic Aze and military advisor away. Okay, then I'll go. Miss Yun, if you need anything, you must tell us immediately. We'll stay on the cliff, Aze ordered again and again. F***ck off. In the end, Zishang kicked him away. Aze flapped his wings and flew around the entrance of the cave, feeling wronged. Seeing that Zishang looked like he was going to kill him if he didn't get lost, he finally left with the military counselor. Yunjioga sat on the ground without a care for her image. She didn't feel it before, but now that she breathed a sigh of relief, she suddenly felt very tired. She couldn't even lift her arms. Do you want me to get you some water for a bath? Zishang walked behind Yunjioga and massaged her shoulders. Yunjioga was a little tempted, but when she saw the empty nest, she immediately shook her head. Never mind, we can't be too particular now. Take Dummy out and let me see how it is. Chapter 505. Zishang took Dummy out of the spirit beast bag when he heard that. Dummy was sleeping soundly, its belly rising and falling slightly. It kept smacking its beak in its dream. Who knew what delicious food it was dreaming of? Yunjioga opened her spirit eye and looked closely at Dummy's sea of consciousness. There was no sign of demonic chi reviving. Fatty Dummy, wake up. Yunjioga sighed and rubbed Dummy's hair before putting it back into the spirit beast bag. Rest, we still have to go negotiate with the Eagle Men tomorrow. Zishang hugged Yunjioga and laid down. Then he told her about his plan. If we want to take over the tribes in this secret realm, it's best to start small. That way, it won't attract Nangong Yu's attention. Also, the Eagle Men have many herbivorous beasts as partners. These beasts are the weaker group in the secret realm. They're in the most difficult situation right now, so I want to start with them. Yunjioga nodded. For some reason, she thought of the long-eared, red-eyed rabbit girl and said, how about we start with the rabbit tribe? Okay, I'll let Advisor and Zay ask tomorrow. It didn't matter which tribe Zishang started with. They had to be subdued in the end anyway. Yunjioga slowly closed her eyes and breathed heavily. Then she fell into a deep sleep. Zishang kissed Yunjioga's forehead and placed his hand on her stomach. There was no movement there. It was as though the little egg was asleep. If only you were really the son of life. Zishang sighed silently in his heart. Then he pulled Yunjioga into his arms and closed his eyes. The next morning, Yunjioga woke up energetically. After washing up, she went to Eagle Cliff with Zishang. Yesterday, the rock wall was still yellow, but today, it was completely bare, leaving only faint yellow grass roots. You guys cut it overnight? Yunjioga asked Advisor. Elder Bai was worried that a long night would bring trouble. Advisor nodded. After hearing that the grass rice and grass potatoes could be stored for a long time, Elder Bai made a prompt decision to have the clansmen harvest overnight. After distributing the grass rice and grass potatoes according to the number of people, the rest were stored in the warehouse for winter storage. Then sprinkle more water and let them grow faster. Yunjioga could understand the eagle race's actions. In fact, she was considering whether she should find a plane to plant a large amount of food and hoard it. She could use it as a weapon to rope in the smaller tribes. However, this involved management and storage, so he had to discuss it with the Eagle tribe and the Naga tribe. I'll go get the people to sprinkle water now. Advisor, send Lady Yun to Elder Bai. Zay had been thinking about the harvest last night and couldn't wait to leave. The military counselor sent Yunjioga into Elder Bai's lair. He noticed that the thick mud he had touched yesterday had grown a layer of grayish-green moss, which shone with a faint light. It grew out so quickly? The military counselor was very happy. He couldn't help but want to break off a piece and have a taste. Kid, don't move. Elder Bai rushed out and pushed his hand away. Then he said excitedly to Yunjioga, Lady Yun, this moss is really good. There's actually salt in it. Is salt very important? Yunjioga was shocked. Did the orcs need to eat salt too? Of course it's important. Things with salt can give us strength and courage. In the past, we traded with the sea race, but ever since the black rain, death swamps have appeared everywhere. Even our eaglemen race doesn't dare to fly there. Everyone is eating the coarse salt that was stored before. If we can't find a substitute, all the orcs will probably have to risk their lives to cross the death swamp. Elder Bai looked at Yunjioga with admiration. He wanted to kneel down and kiss her toes. He thought the moss was just a backup food. He didn't expect there to be salt. This was a lifesaver. Do you think we can use these two things to rope in other tribes? Yunjioga didn't expect the moss to have such a magical effect. This was not bad. Of course. Not to mention making them submit, even making them swear a blood oath of lifelong loyalty is not a problem. Elder Bai's tone was not exaggerated at all. In the current situation of the secret realm, those who could feed were the mothers, and those who could provide food were the fathers. Not to mention, Yunjioga could also help solve the problem of cubs and death chi. Yunjioga was now their god. Even he was willing to swear a blood oath, let alone the other orcs. There's no need to swear a blood oath. Go ask the partners of the Eagle tribe if there are any tribes that are willing to follow me. If there are, we can go find them. Yunjioga didn't hesitate to enslave others. She preferred mutual benefits. There's no need to ask. I can guarantee that they are willing. Right now, the closest tribes to our Eagle tribe are the Ox tribe and the Horse tribe. Which one do you want to go to first? Elder Bai asked. What about the Rabbit tribe? Zishang was still thinking about Yunjioga's words last night. The Rabbit tribe is a bit further away, but it shouldn't be a problem. How about I have a gu bring with up now? Elder Bai was very proactive. Their Eagle tribe was the first to swear loyalty to Yunjioga. In the future, all the tribes that submitted would be under them. He had to stabilize this advantage in the early stages. There's no hurry. I still have something to discuss with you. Yunjioga wanted to find a place to plant grass and stock up on food. Elder Bai pondered for a moment, then asked, Miss Yun, do you want to build a tribe and let all the beastmen live together and manage them together? If that was the case, it would be good too. With the current situation in the mystic realm, they needed to be united. Otherwise, those tribes might seem to submit on the surface, but they would have to rush them, threaten them, and even bribe them. It would be a waste of time. That's not what I mean. How much godly power would it take to build a tribe that could accommodate all the orcs? She wasn't in the mood for that right now. We want to build a city of orcs and manage all the orcs, Zishang suddenly said. Yunjioga's eyes widened as she looked at Zishang. She almost blurted out, Are you crazy? How could it be easy to build a city without demonic power? What do you mean by a city? Elder Bai was confused and didn't understand. It's a tribe built from earth. There are high walls and a moat outside. There are also houses for you to live in. Zishang gave a simple description. There's actually such a safe place? Elder Bai's eyes lit up, but they quickly dimmed. Such a city must be very difficult to build. Lady Z, winter is coming. The most important thing for us now is to stock up on food. I'm afraid we don't have the time to help you complete such a great mission. Chapter 506. You don't have to worry about that. I have a way to build the city. You just have to subdue the nearby tribes as soon as possible. I hope that all the beastmen in this mystic realm can live in my city before winter arrives, Zishang said calmly. Yes, don't worry, Lady Yi. We will definitely complete the task. Although Elder Bai didn't trust him, she still agreed solemnly. Yi, come here. I have something to discuss with you. Yunjioga couldn't sit still. She felt that Zishang was joking. Take your time to discuss. I still have something to take care of. I'll be leaving first. Elder Bai flew out of her lair. Zishang, do you know what you're saying? Yunjioga looked at Zishang in disbelief. Of course. Zishang nodded. Then what do you plan to use to build the city? Is my divine power not enough to save people? Even if Yunjioga had excess divine power, she would use it to plant crops. That was what the beastmen needed the most now. There's no need for you. Just leave Shirley to me. Zishang had thought it through before saying such a thing. You want him to use Yin Qi to build the city? Yun Jioga frowned. Although Yin Shirley was a gold core, he was greatly restricted when he entered the mystic realm. He probably didn't have the strength to do this. I want him to build a city made of earth, not a spirit city. It won't take much effort. The city Zishang wanted to build was a wall made of earth and a deep moat. The beastmen could find a way to build the houses inside. It wouldn't be a problem at all. Alright, since you're confident, go ahead and try. Yun Jioga passed the corpse refining bag to Zishang. She believed that Zishang wouldn't do something he wasn't confident in. Aren't you coming with me? Zishang frowned. We're not kids anymore. Do we have to play with mud hand in hand? You do your thing and I'll do mine. Let's settle things quickly and find Li Wei, Yun Jioga said impatiently. Then be careful. Splitting up was the best solution. Zishang couldn't refuse. Oh, by the way, where are the seeds of the grass eaters? Yun Jioga asked. I still have a use for them. Even if you go to the tribe now, you can't help them plant grass right away. Bring some food to help them first. It would be best if they could voluntarily come to you. Otherwise, why would they come to you when they had food and water? I got it. Go do what you need to do. Yun Jioga waved his hand to chase him away. The most important thing was to hurry up and return. Then I'll go now, Zishang shouted towards the cliff. Ah Zai, come here. Master Yizi has something to say. Yizi flew over with a potato in her mouth. Take me out for a spin. Zishang grabbed Ah Zai's feet and left the lair with him. Elder Bai only came in after Zishang had left. He wanted to ask but was too embarrassed to do so. Yizi has gone to build a city. I'll stay here and help you reclaim the tribe. What about Guo? Have you told her? I've talked to her. She said that she can represent her tribe and pledge her loyalty to you. She hopes that you can save her tribe as soon as possible, Elder Bai said. Guo was an orphan who had been raised by her clansmen since she was a child. Her clan had been ambushed by a pack of jackals and wolves, and she had accidentally fallen into the river when she was escaping. That was how Agu had saved her. Let's go now. Yun Jioga couldn't bear it when he thought about the suffering of those gentle and weak little rabbit girls. Indeed, cuteness was the way to go. Elder Bai had originally wanted to tag along, but Yun Jioga had strictly forbidden him from staying at Eagle Cliff to manage the situation and take a good rest. The military counselor nodded his head repeatedly. In the end, he brought Agu, Ah Ping, Ah Hui, and the other eagle men with him. Each eagle man carried a bag of about 30 grass potatoes and a bag of green moss. These were all food for the rabbit men. Gu didn't want to bring Guo along, but Guo insisted on going. She was usually very gentle, but when she became stubborn, even Gu couldn't do anything about it. He could only come to consult the military counselor. Of course, the military counselor didn't agree. In his heart, a pregnant female would only be a burden. Bringing her along would just be looking for trouble. In the end, Yun Jioga examined Guo and found that her fetus was stable and wouldn't affect her mobility. The military counselor reluctantly agreed. Tell me if you're not feeling well, understand? Don't hold it in. Yun Jioga looked at Guo's long and soft ears and really wanted to touch them, but to maintain his cold image he didn't. Thank you, Miss Yun. Nodded shyly and fearfully. She also knew that she might cause trouble if she went along, but she really missed her clansmen who had taken care of her growing up, so she could only be willful for once. Agu, take care of Gu. Don't let her fall, the military counselor ordered. Don't worry, she's safe. Gu took out a rope made of silk grass and tied Gu firmly to his chest. Only then did the military counselor and a Hui carry Yun Jioga and fly in front. The other eagle men flew vigilantly beside them. The territory of the rabbit men used to be in the east of the grassland. After the disaster of the Black Rain, most of the grassland had been abandoned. They could only migrate to the mountains that still had some green left. Our clansman's territory is over there, said while pointing at a small mound full of weeds from above. Let's go down, Yun Jioga ordered. The military counselor brought the eagle men and Guo to the small mound. Chief Grandmother, Elder Ah Lang, I've brought some people to bring you food, Guo shouted. However, the small mound was strangely xiet. A breeze with a faint deathly aura blew past, and the half-yellow and half-green weeds kept swaying. Xiao xia, xiao bai. Turned over the caves that were full of weeds one by one, but she didn't find any trace of her clansmen. She was so anxious that her forehead was covered in sweat. Yun Jioga, the military counselor, and the other eagle men also searched everywhere, but they didn't find anything either. Don't panic, maybe they're migrating again? The Gu felt sorry for the panicking Guo and wiped her sweat. No, if they're migrating, they'll definitely leave a mark for other clansmen. Shook her head, and her little face was pale. I'm guessing that they were attacked. Yun Jioga walked out of a cave at this time, holding a half-eaten carrot in his hand. Gu could smell the blood on the carrot. It was the scent of her clansmen. Her body couldn't help but shake, and she fainted after rolling her eyes. What's wrong with you? Gu screamed in fear, and quickly held her limp body. Don't be nervous. She just fainted because she was too excited. Help her into the cave to rest. Yun Jioga comforted Gu. Hurry up and go in. The military counselor frowned. He didn't agree to bring Gu here before. She was indeed a failure. Gu didn't have time to thank him. He quickly carried Gu into the cave. Military counselor, what do you think about this? Yun Jioga asked the military counselor. Chapter 507. I guess they migrated again after being discovered by the jackals and wolves. After the black rain, food became scarce, and many beasts were starving. The rabbit tribe was targeted once before, so it's very likely that they will be targeted again, military counselor analyzed cautiously. In the past, there was plenty of food in the Mystic Land, so the beasts were not very willing to fight the orcs. Now that the disaster of the black rain was over, the starving beasts became extremely ferocious. Sometimes, even the eagle tribe had to avoid them. What you said is very likely. Can you find the direction in which they migrated? Yun Jioga asked. They seem to have left for a while, so it's a little difficult to find them. Military counselor paused and then said, and I don't understand why you are so obsessed with the rabbit tribe. If it was because of Wu'er's pregnancy, the other eagle tribe's partners were also pregnant. The ox tribe and the horse tribe were also very pitiful, and they were also waiting for their rescue. Compared to the rabbit tribe, the ox tribe and the horse tribe were stronger and more capable. Military counselor did not understand why Yun Jioga wanted to go further. Because I don't like to give up halfway. At first, Yun Jioga did choose to come here because she thought the rabbit tribe was very cute. But after seeing the scene in front of her, she felt that the rabbit tribe did not migrate because of the threat of the jackals and wolves. There must be other reasons. At this time, Gu walked out of the cave with the help of Agu, holding a wooden board the size of a nameplate in her hand. She said to Yun Jioga, Miss Yun, my tribe did not migrate, but encountered a sudden disaster. Look at this board, it's a sign to tell us to run away. Yun Jioga took the brown board and found that it was broken and had a bite mark with blood on it, which looked like it was bitten by a rabbit. This is the board that our chief always carries with him. He must have bitten off this wooden board to warn us before he was injured. Gu held back her tears and pleaded to Yun Jioga, Miss Yun, I know my request is very rude, but I beg you to save my tribe. They are very capable and kind people, and they will definitely be of great help to you in the future. Gu was very nervous when she said this. The only advantage of the rabbit tribe was that they could hear far and run fast, but they were far worse than the eagle tribe and the snake tribe. She wondered if Miss Yun would like them. These grasses were planted by your rabbit tribe? Yun Jioga suddenly glanced at the incomparably dense wild grass. It was clearly much more exuberant than other places. Gu was stunned. She nodded and said, yes, we transplanted fresh weeds from other places and planted them in front of the cave. We also opened up a piece of land at the back to plant carrots for the kids. Yun Jioga glanced at the carrot in his hand, and his heart instantly bloomed with joy. These rabbit people were definitely talented at planting. Miss Yun, being attacked is just Gu'er's guess. I still think they have migrated, so there's no need to waste time looking for them. Military counselor insisted. Even if they have migrated, I will still have to find them. They are very important to me. If you guys are unwilling, then have the Naga race bring them here, Yunjioga said calmly. She was preparing to plant food on a large scale, and these rabbit men were definitely the best choice. However, Yunjioga did not intend to explain these things right now. He wanted to see how obedient the eagle men were. Miss Yun, if you want to find them, even if the rabbit tribe goes to the ends of the earth, I will find them. Military counselor quickly expressed his stance. He had no intention of disobeying Yunjioga. Yunjioga was quite satisfied with military counselor's attitude. Then let's split into 4 groups and each go in one direction. How about it? Military counselor said, resigned to his fate. The rabbit tribe's tutorial was very fast, and they had always been cunning. It would take a lot of effort to find them. No need. Yunjioga shook his head, then patted the spirit beast bag and released the treasure-seeking scorpion. Master, did you send me here to look for treasures? Oh my God, what is this place? Why is it so smelly? The treasure-seeking scorpion, which had just crawled out of the secret realm, almost fell over due to the stench of death. This is the forbidden spirit land. Can you help me find the owner of this carrot? Yunjioga placed the carrot in front of the treasure-seeking scorpion, completely treating it like a dog. I'll try. The treasure-seeking scorpion hadn't received Yunjioga's summons for a long time, so it didn't dare to relax even if it was a small matter. The treasure-seeking scorpion used its pincers to bite off a small piece of the carrot and chewed it. Then, it drilled into the ground and circled around randomly. When it came out, it said to Yunjioga, I've found the smell of the carrot, but they came from the cave. You guys can't go in here. Yunjioga thought about the tunnels in the cave that extended in all directions like marmots. She had thought that those tunnels were used to store food. Could they be used to escape? But those tunnels were so small. How could the rabbit tribe pass through? Yunjioga couldn't help but look at Gua, who was short but had the height of a normal woman, in surprise. Gua, who felt Yunjioga's gaze, clenched her teeth and said, Miss Yun, actually, the rabbit tribe can completely transform into the shape of a rabbit. Impossible. Before Yunjioga could say anything, military counselor couldn't help but say, only the prince of the eagle tribe can completely transform. Gu looked at his partner in a daze. He suddenly remembered the first time they met. He had found a white rabbit. He wanted to catch the rabbit, but it had kicked him away. When he flew back, the little rabbit was gone, and only Gua was lying unconscious on the ground. Gua bit her lips and didn't say anything. Then, her body suddenly emitted an extremely faint golden light. With a bang, Gua disappeared, leaving behind a cute rabbit on the ground. It had white fluffy fur, long ears, red eyes, and a 3-petaled mouth. It was the most ordinary rabbit form. Gua! Yunjioga held the soft rabbit up in surprise. The rabbit nodded and said, Miss Yun, we didn't mean to hide it from you. It's just that Grandmother Chief said that we can't let outsiders know about this ability. Otherwise, we will be treated as ordinary rabbits and eaten. Your Grandmother Chief is right. Yunjioga smiled and opened his spirit eye. He carefully observed Gua, who was in the beast form. He saw that Gua's body was shrouded in an extremely faint golden light. Although there was also a sea of consciousness, it was extremely faint. Compared to Dummy, it was like a drop of water compared to a plate of water. Even so, Yunjioga was still very excited. As long as he found the rabbit tribe chief and waited for Dummy to wake up, there might be a way to dispel this mysterious power. Chapter 508. Don't worry. I will definitely save your people. You can return to your original form. Yunjioga stroked Gu's soft white fur and pinched her long ears. Finally, it was complete. No, I'm going to go through the tunnel with that big scorpion to find my people. Gu shook her head firmly. But you're pregnant. It was too dangerous. Miss Yun, if I were still in the form of a rabbit person, it would be hard for me to move while I'm pregnant. However, once I'm in the form of a rabbit, I feel like I have infinite power. You can see if you don't believe me. Gu suddenly jumped and landed on the ground. Then she turned into a white shadow and traveled through the rabbit person's cave. 3 seconds later, there were a lot of things in front of Yunjioga. There were wood chips, stones, arrowheads, and a small blood-stained hide dress. Gua found them in the most secluded place in the cave. This is Xiaoxia's favorite hide dress. Gua pressed the hide with her front paw. With tears in her red eyes, she said, if they really planned to migrate, they would have taken these with them. It's okay. We're going to save your people now. Military counselor, go into the first level of alert. If you find any strange orcs nearby, catch them and bring them to me immediately. Yunjioga looked serious. The golden light on Guo was as rare as dummies. Those who attacked them must have done it for this mysterious power. Yes, military counselor answered without hesitation. The other eagle people didn't have any objections. Treasure hunting scorpion, take this rabbit into the tunnel and find the direction in which the rabbit person left. Be careful. Show your head every mile. Can you do that? Yunjioga asked seriously. Of course, my big pincers are not for show. Treasure hunting scorpion waved its strong pincers. When it was just a small scorpion, it didn't have Earth's spiritual power, so it had to dig holes with its big pincers. It was no slower than marmots. Well, you have to be careful. If you find anything wrong, ask treasure hunting scorpion to bring you out immediately. Safety first, understand? Yunjioga reminded Gua. Although Gua was stronger than usual in her rabbit person form, she was pregnant after all. It would be troublesome if something went wrong. Don't worry, Miss Yun. I'll be careful. Gua nodded. In fact, she didn't tell Yunjioga one thing. After she was pregnant, she found her rabbit person form was stronger than before, as if there was a source of power in her belly. Although Yunjioga was a good person, she didn't dare to tell him. She was afraid that her child would be hurt. Counselor, find an eagle man with the sharpest eyes to keep a close eye on the ground and monitor the movements of the treasure-seeking scorpion, Yunjioga said to the counselor. Ah, Gray's eyes are the sharpest. Let him observe. The military advisor recommended Aqua's father, the cold-looking eagleman Gray with a scar on his face. Hui did not speak, it maintained its usual cold attitude, but it was very glad that this scorpion was fat and big enough, and its color was also very dazzling. Otherwise, no matter how sharp its eyes were, it would not be able to do anything. Yunjioga had said everything he needed to say, so he ordered, "Good, let's go now." The treasure-hunting scorpion twisted its stinger and drilled into the hole below. Gua followed it closely and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Zhe and Ping helped Yunjioga up. Ash, on the other hand, flew high up in the sky, its sharp eyes constantly scanning the mottled ground. Not long after, it saw a purple scorpion head emerge from the ground in the east. It subconsciously wanted to pounce on it and eat it. Fortunately, the scorpion quickly retracted its head. Only then did he realize that it was not food but a companion. He hurriedly shook his head and shouted in a calm tone, "They're over there." Then he chased after them with Yunjioga and the military counselor. Just like that, Yunjioga and the others chased the treasure-seeking scorpion to a cliff. The treasure-seeking scorpion finally showed its head completely, and so did Gua. Yunjioga and the others quickly landed beside them and asked, "What's wrong?" "The smell ends here." The treasure-seeking scorpion pointed to a round hole behind it and said, "It's very likely that they left after climbing out from here." Yunjioga looked around and saw a large piece of black land in the west. There was not much grass, and the swamp of death was not far away. Even the eagle men didn't dare to fly over the swamp of death, let alone the rabbit men. She turned to look at the east. There was a very high cliff, even steeper than Eagle Cliff. There were not even many protruding rocks. The rabbit men didn't have wings, so they would fall to their deaths. "Miss Yun, there are no traces of the rabbit men nearby." Ash flapped its wings and landed in front of Yunjioga. The military counselor really wanted to say that the fat scorpion might have led them the wrong way, but he didn't dare to say it. Yunjioga didn't doubt the treasure-seeking scorpion at all. Although it couldn't use its spirit power now, it wouldn't be a problem for it to track the smell. She was just about to ask Gua what she thought when she suddenly sped up and rushed toward the cliff like a white shadow. "Gua, Gu was so scared that his soul was about to leave his body. He flapped his wings and chased after her. However, he saw Gu jump toward the cliff. Her 4 limbs immediately spread out, and the hair under her armpits fluttered in the wind. She actually spun on the cliff and landed on the cliff wall. Then, she kicked with her hind legs, rolled, and bounced into an inconspicuous cave on the cliff wall. Gu flapped his wings and paced back and forth at the entrance of the cave. Unfortunately, the cave entrance was too small, and he couldn't even stick his head in. Let Gu come back. There's no rush. Yun-jyoga could already tell that the cave was very likely the place where the remaining members of the rabbitmen settled down. Rabbits were very timid. Although Gu was around, it would definitely take a long time to convince them. Gu would only scare them if he was there. The military counselor personally flew over to drag Gu, who didn't want to leave, back. Yun-jyoga looked at the dejected Gu and felt that it was funny. Gu just went in to persuade her clansmen, but in the end, he looked like he was abandoned. It could be seen that the relationship between the two was really good. Miss Yun, it's getting dark. We have to find a safe place to stay, the military counselor said to Yun-jyoga. He already realized that they were going to fight a protracted war with the rabbitmen. Then find a suitable cave on the cliff and take a look. It was very dark here at night, and it was too dangerous to spend the night on the open grassland. Miss Yun, I saw a very good cave just now. It's just beside Guer's cave, Gu said immediately. All right, military counselor, go and take a look. If it's suitable, we'll stay. Yun-jyoga nodded. It was good to be closer to the cave of the rabbitmen. Chapter 509. Military counselor quickly flew over to check the cave that Gu mentioned. When he came back, he was a little troubled. The cave is a little small. It's not easy to live in. It's fine, as long as it's habitable. This was not the time to pursue comfort and spaciousness. You should go and take a look first. Military counselor and a gray brought Yun-jyoga to the cave. The cave was actually very wide, but it was not deep enough. Sitting inside, the mountain wind blew. It was not a good place to rest. Why don't we change to another one? Gu felt a little guilty. In order to be closer to Gu, he was willing to live in any shabby place. However, he felt bad for making Miss Yun feel so wronged. It's fine, it's quite good. Yun-jyoga shook her head, then said to Gu, I must be hungry after being tired for so long. Why don't you throw a bag of grass potatoes in, then find something nearby to start a bonfire and boil some hot water. That way, she can drink hot water when she comes out. Miss Yun is right. Gu's eyes immediately lit up. He flew to the cave entrance and threw the bag of grass potatoes and moss in, then shouted, is for you. Very quickly, a white furry claw reached out from the cave entrance and dragged the bag in with a swish. Gu laughed foolishly, then eagerly flew out to find some dried branches and leaves to start a fire. Military counselor, send someone to find some silk grass to weave into curtains to block the wind. Also, go and find some jade grass that can stop bleeding. There must be someone in the rabbit tribe who is injured. It will be useful later. Her panacea was limited in this place. It was better to use local herbs to treat ordinary wounds. The Ping and Afong, you two go. Military counselor turned around and ordered the 2 eagle men behind him. The 2 young eagle men immediately flapped their wings and left. I'll go out and see what's going on below. Gray was a cautious person. Every time he went to a strange place, he had to investigate the surroundings clearly before he could feel at ease. Go, be careful. Pay attention to our movements at all times. Come back when you hear shouts, military counselor instructed. Okay. Gray nodded, then flapped his wings and went down the cliff. Miss Yun, are you cold? The military counselor spread his wings and blocked the entrance of the cave to block the wind, but the howling wind still blew the hair in front of Yun-jyoga's forehead into a mess. No. Yun-jyoga shook her head. She didn't feel cold yet, but it would be hard to say later. We'll wait for Hoodlum and the rest to bring the silk grass back. After saying this, the military counselor fell silent for a moment before asking Yun-jyoga cautiously, How is His Highness? It's fine. Yun Jioga took Dummy out of the spirit beast bag. The chubby dummy still looked like he was sleeping soundly. His big, furry face was full of happiness, which made people's teeth itch. Miss Yun, is it true that His Royal Highness will wake up in 6 days? The military counselor had always remembered what Yun Jioga had said. 1 day had been taken away yesterday, so there were still 6 days left. Actually, 6 days is still too long. If possible, I hope he can wake up earlier. She had a bad feeling about the rabbit tribe being hunted down today. If these pursuers were also sent by Nangongyu, then she had definitely entered this Arcana land for that mysterious power. She had only just discovered that others had already begun to plunder. This feeling was really uncomfortable. He will definitely wake up. The military counselor nodded vigorously, then reached out and secretly plucked a strand of His Royal Highness but hair, hoping to wake him up earlier. Dummy kicked its fat legs in dissatisfaction, then turned over to continue sleeping unhappily. Don't touch him. Yun Jioga rolled her eyes at the military counselor, then kept Fatty Dummy. Since you have nothing better to do, why don't you help me get a big rock? I want to make some stone bowls. Yun Jioga said to the military counselor. They had only brought food with them, not those heavy tools. I don't have nothing better to do, I want to protect you. The military counselor emphasized seriously, then shouted to Gray at the bottom of the cliff, get me a rock. Miss Yun wants to make stone bowls. Very soon, Ash came up with a big rock. What's at the bottom of the cliff? Yun Jioga asked as she gestured on the rock. Just some broken rocks and a dead end. There's nothing special. I'll go get some water. Gray just couldn't do it, so she flew out of the cave after saying that. Yun Jioga took out the evil blade that had already become scrap metal, and started to cut and cut on the gray rock. In the end, she made a big stone bowl, 5 small stone bowls, and some waste. What is this? It's too powerful. The military counselor stared at Yun Jioga's hand in shock. Such a hard rock was even more fragile than dirt under her hand. This is called a blade. Yun Jioga showed the evil blade. Fortunately, the material of the evil blade had a special effect on rocks. Otherwise, it would have been useless if it had been any other spiritual weapon. This is the legendary divine weapon. The military counselor looked at the rusty evil blade with a face full of admiration. You're thinking too much. This can only be used to cut rocks. By the way, what kind of weapons do the Eagle clan usually use? Yun Jioga asked again. Nangongyu hadn't come looking for them yet. When she showed her power, there would definitely be a battle. As a fighting clan, the Eagle clan would definitely be on the battlefield. We usually use spears to kill our enemies when we dive down, the military counselor said proudly. The Eagle clan was very powerful when they dived down. Even the big brown bear in the mystic realm could be killed. I thought you guys knew how to use crossbows. Yun Jioga was a little surprised. The Eagle clan could fly and were natural archers. As long as they flew far away to fight monsters, who could get close to them? We don't know how to make crossbows. The military counselor shook his head. You guys have been fighting with the Naga for so long. Haven't you snatched a few back to try? Yun Jioga asked. We did, but the Naga's crossbows are all specially made. They can only fly from the bottom up. We can't shoot from the bottom down. The military counselor had a look of pity. It wasn't easy for him to snatch a crossbow, but it was useless. They actually have crossbows like that. Yun Jioga hadn't paid attention to the Naga's crossbows before. He thought they were just ordinary goods. The oracle said that they have customized many weapons for all the major clans. She also said that as long as the Eagle clan defected to them, we would be able to get the most suitable weapons for us. Even if we wanted to dominate the mystic realm, it wouldn't be a problem. When the military counselor spoke, there was a hint of yearning in his voice. However, it quickly turned into hatred. As a warrior, he naturally hoped to get a powerful weapon that suited him. However, whenever he thought about how the oracle had made these things to make the beastmen kill each other, he felt extreme hatred. Chapter 5:10. It's fine. I'll get Yi to make a set of weapons for you when we get back. I guarantee it'll be 10,000 times more powerful than the fake oracles. Yun Jioge wasn't bragging. From the moment Zishang said he wanted to build a city, she knew he was going to do something big. Weapons were definitely the most important. This was the difference between Yun Jioge and Zishang. She was more concerned about the health of the orcs and wanted to do something good for this mystic realm. Zishang, on the other hand, was thinking about how to use the orcs to quickly achieve his goal. Fortunately, their thoughts weren't in conflict. They could even complement each other. Lord Yizi even knows how to make weapons? That's really amazing. The military advisor's face immediately lit up. His admiration for Yizi was rising again. There's nothing he doesn't know. When Yun Jioge said this, she was proud, as if she was the amazing person. She chatted with military counselor for a while and realized the light was dimming. The sky was getting darker. Night was coming. Why aren't Ah Fei and Ah Ping back yet? Yun Jioge looked outside worriedly. I'll go take a look. Military counselor flew out of the cave and quickly returned with Ah Fei and Ah Ping. The two of them carried bundles of silk grass. However, there were pitifully few jade grass hanging on them. It's very empty here. We flew for a long time before we found this much, Ah Fei said guiltily. It's fine. This is enough. Yun Jioge took the jade grass and put it aside. Quickly weave a curtain to block the wind. Military counselor picked up the silk grass and quickly weaved it. Ah Ping and Ah Fei sat beside him and quickly weaved. Soon, Ah Hui and Ah Gu returned. Ah Gu carried a huge bundle of dried branches on his back. Ah Hui slowly filled a bag of clean water with a beast skin bag. Yun Jioge took the bag and poured half of the water into the stone bowl. With Ah Gu and Ah Hui's help, the curtain was quickly weaved. It was as dense as 2 green door panels. Military counselor even made a few holes on the curtain for easy observation and ventilation. Then he flew out of the cave and nailed it. The wind was indeed much weaker. The military counselor lifted the curtain and returned to the cave. Ah Hui had already used the remaining stones of Yun Jioge to make a square stove and started the bonfire. The cold cave immediately became warm. The 5 eagle men crowded at the entrance of the cave, leaving the spacious space inside for Yun Jioge. Yun Jioge didn't say anything. He placed the stone bowl on the stove and poured the dried grass and beef into it, preparing to cook the meat porridge. The light yellow rice rolled up and down in the boiling water, and the brown jerky stewed until it was soft. Yun Jioge took out a wooden spoon from the cloth bag and stirred it to prevent it from sticking to the bottom of the pot. The fragrance of the meat porridge spread in the cave. Even the military counselor could not help but drool. Since the disaster of the Black Rain, they had not had a proper meal of meat. Although they were already very happy to be able to eat grass rice and grass potatoes to fill their stomachs every day, they were still carnivores. Smelling this kind of meat aroma was simply painful torture. Ah Hui was slightly better. His cold face did not show any expression, but his throat moved slightly. Ah Ping and Ah Feng, the 2 young eagle men, had their eyes fixed on the bowl of meat porridge. Their throats could not help but move up and down, and they were almost drooling. They were really craving it. Miss Yun would definitely not be able to finish such a big bowl. It would be great if she could drink a little when the time came. Even if it was just a taste, it would be good. Aren't you hungry? Why aren't you eating? Yun Jioge asked while stirring. Oh, we'll eat now. The few eagle men took out the dry grass potatoes. Smelling the fragrant meat porridge, it was especially painful to eat. Miss Yun, why aren't you eating? The military counselor found that the porridge was cooked, but Yun Jioge still did not move to eat. I'm not hungry. Yun Jioge shook her head. If you're not hungry, why did you cook such a big bowl of meat porridge? The military counselor did not think that it was cooked for them, or Yun Jioge would have called them over just now. This is for Gua and the rest. Yun Jioge put down the spoon and said to a stone wall in the shadow of the corner, So, have you thought it through? Can you come out and see us now? Before the military counselor and the rest could react, they heard banging sounds coming from the stone wall. The stone chips shattered, and a tunnel that was about the size of a head appeared in front of them. Gua! Agu immediately shouted excitedly. Agu! A small white rabbit came out of the tunnel. It was Gua in her beast form. Agu was about to go over, but the military counselor stopped him. Don't go over. The tunnel was not very spacious. If Agu went over, even Yunjioga would not have a place to sit. Elder, come out. Gua turned her head and said to the tunnel. Following that, a trembling old rabbit crawled out from the passage, its pair of red eyes filled with wisdom landing on Yunjioga. Elder, this is Miss Yun that I told you about. Miss Yun, this is the elder of our rabbit men tribe, Gua introduced. Hello, elder. Yunjioga smiled and said, My name is Yunjioga. I came from the outside world. Miss Yun, why did you come from the outside world to our barren land? The rabbit elder's voice was different from Elder Bai's. Elder Bai thought about how to lead the Eagle Men tribe to survive every day. His voice always sounded urgent. However, this rabbit elder's voice was very steady. It made people feel that he was an intelligent rabbit. I came here to look for someone, Yunjioga said seriously. Who is it? The rabbit elder asked. Now is not the time to tell you. I will ask for your help when the time is right. Yunjioga smiled faintly. He did not take the rabbit elder's aggressiveness to heart. Miss Yun, since you are with the Eagle Men, you should know why their prince can transform into a complete beast form. What do you think? The rabbit elder changed the topic. Yunjioga thought for a moment and said directly, the Eagle Prince can transform into a beast form and can even shoot fireballs from his mouth. That is because there is a ball of golden light in his head. The Rabbit Men tribe also has golden light, but it is much less than his. Most of it is distributed in the body and bones. That is why your beast forms are stronger. You are the most honest person I have ever met, the rabbit elder said emotionally. The rabbit elder sighed. It didn't expect Yunjioga to reveal the truth without any conditions. This is your Beast Men tribe's business. You have the right to know. Yunjioga thought so. Thank you. The rabbit elder's attitude was clearly much better. Then, elder, can you tell me where the golden light on your body comes from? Yunjioga asked directly. Chapter 5:11. Why do you want to know the secret of the golden light? The rabbit elder asked calmly. I want to obtain the golden light not for myself, but because a demonic aura is spreading in your arcane realm. This demonic aura will turn you into mindless puppets. Only the golden light can save you. Yunjioga told the rabbit elder about the demonic aura and the gaga grass on the orc cubs, as well as the naga auntie. Finally, he said, if you don't believe me, you can ask as well as the Eagle Men and the Nagas. Elder, Miss Yun is telling the truth. Miss Yun cured all the kids of the Eagle Man tribe. I saw it with my own eyes, Gua said hurriedly. You're really a kind person, the rabbit elder praised casually. The rabbit elder praised casually before sighing and saying, but we don't know where the golden light on our bodies comes from. In fact, I only just found out about this from you. Our tribe has been living in the depths of the grassland. Our ancestors told us to keep this a secret. We can't let outsiders know that we can completely transform into beasts. Then have you compared the difference between you and other rabbit men? Yunjioga asked again. Yes, but we're actually no different from ordinary rabbit men. The food we eat and the environment we live in are the same. We also marry rabbit men from other tribes. The offspring we give birth to can also transform, but they'll be much weaker. We can only transform when it's a matter of life and death, the rabbit elder said. At this point, the rabbit elder's eyes immediately became a little wet. He said, this time, our tribe encountered a great disaster. All the strong tribesmen were captured. Only the old, the weak, the women, and the children escaped through the tunnel. Who captured you? Yunjioga asked solemnly. It was the jackal orcs. At first, they chased ordinary jackals to test us. After we killed those jackals, they didn't do anything. I didn't expect them to be so shameless as to poison the plants we eat. The poison is very strange. The poison tribesmen can't transform, so they can only desperately cover our escape. Resentment flashed in the rabbit elder's red eyes. Because of their ability to transform, they didn't suffer too much damage during the Black Rain disaster. This time, however, most of them were captured because of the jackal orcs. You beastmen shouldn't have the ability to poison plants. Yun Jioga was sure that it was Nangong Yu's doing. You mean the oracle is the one who commanded it? The military counselor immediately understood. That's very likely. How much do you know about the Knoll tribe? Do you know if they have joined the oracle's camp? Where is their current base? Yun Jioga asked. I've never heard of the Knoll tribe joining the oracle's camp. They have always been migrating with their prey. They don't have a fixed settlement. The military counselor shook his head. We, the rabbit folk, have always lived in the depths of the grasslands and have never dealt with the gnolls before. However, the panther race brat had previously brought the oracle's summons, asking us to join the oracle's tribe. Then he would give us weapons to protect ourselves, but we rejected him? The rabbit elder was a little regretful. If they had known that the tribe would encounter such a calamity, they would have agreed to join the oracle's camp. At the very least, they would have gotten their hands on the weapons first. Elder, don't worry. If the oracle ordered the gnolls to do this, then your people should be fine. Nangong Yu only wanted the golden light, not the rabbit meat. Lady Yun, please save our clansmen, said excitedly at the side. Don't worry, I will definitely save them. How many of your people are left? Call them over. Yes, Yun Jioga said. My people are very safe now. There's no need to trouble Miss Yun, the rabbit elder said gently. It was obvious that he still did not trust Yun Jioga. Elder, I'm willing to save you because I treat you as my people. If you don't trust me, there's no need for me to risk my life for you. Yun Jioga really did not have the time to appease the timid and paranoid rabbit folk. The rabbit elder was still a little hesitant. Although Yun Jioga seemed like a good person, he did not dare to take the risk if he was not of the same race. Yun Jioga did not speak. He directly used his divine power and tapped the stone wall. The stone wall silently disappeared, revealing a group of furry rabbits behind it. The rabbits were jumping around in panic as if they were scared out of their wits. Everyone, don't panic. Miss Yun means us no harm, Gua shouted desperately, but it was to no avail. The rabbit elder did not move at the side. He had no intention of maintaining order. His red eyes did not hide his dissatisfaction towards Yun Jioga. Miss Yun. Military counselor stood beside Yun Jioga coldly. He was only waiting for her order to capture these ungrateful rabbits. Don't be anxious. Let them jump. Yun Jioga was not anxious this time. He turned around and sat down. He called Gua and said, You must be hungry after a long day. Eat something first. With that said, he filled a small stone bowl with meat porridge and handed it to Gua. Gua was originally not in the mood to eat, but she could not stand the aroma. She immediately transformed into her human form and drank in big mouthfuls. She felt as if her internal organs and body were soaking in the hot spring. Perhaps her expression was too blissful. The few little rabbits watching from afar could not help but drool. Xiao Xia, Xiao Ming, come here quickly. It's too delicious. Guo went over and carried the two smallest rabbits over. She let them drink in her bowl. The two palm-sized white rabbits were a little timid at first. However, once they ate the meat porridge, they immediately buried their heads in and ate. The rabbit form had a small appetite. The two little rabbits turned into human forms with a bang. Xiao Xia was a little lowly, around 5 years old. She had long hair, a round apple face, and big watery eyes. She was very cute. Xiao Ming looked exactly the same as Xiao Xia. However, his short hair showed that he was a boy. The two of them should be twins. Yun Jioga took the opportunity to open his spirit eye to check the two rabbits. He found that they were very healthy. There were no traces of demonic energy or death energy on their bodies. That mysterious golden light was indeed the root of dispelling demonic energy. The beastmen were saved. Under the lure of Gua and the two little rabbits, the other rabbits also came over to drink the meat porridge. However, only the children transformed into human forms. The other adults remained in rabbit form and kept a distance from Yun Jioga and the others. The rabbit elder still stood proudly on the spot without moving. Elder, please believe that I have no ill intentions. If I really wanted to do anything to you, I would not need to spend so much effort to help you. Yun Jioga handed a bowl of meat porridge to the rabbit elder. Chapter 5:12. Miss Yun, I know you're a good person, but we really don't dare to take the risk anymore. The rabbit elder softened her attitude, but she did not take the meat porridge. I don't want you to take the risk. Actually, I'm planning to build a city and plant a large amount of food to help you orcs survive the winter. I realize that the rabbit people are very good at farming, so I hope you can go back with me. After I rescue your people, you can reunite. Although Yun Jioga sounded very sincere, the rabbit elder was still a little hesitant. I hope you won't reject my invitation because winter is coming soon. The rabbit people won't be able to survive the current situation. Yun Jioga looked at the little rabbit people who were resting after eating and drinking. Thank you for your invitation, but I can't make a decision on this matter. Why don't you ask our chief after you rescue her? The rabbit elder said slyly. Sure. I saw some injured rabbits. Go and treat them. Yun Jioga did not take the opportunity to make a good impression on the injured rabbit people. Instead, she handed the great jade grass to the rabbit elder. Thank you for the herb. The rabbit elder nodded gratefully. Regardless of whether Yun Jioga was a good person or a bad person, at least he was helping them now. You're welcome. Yun Jioga returned to the campfire, added some water to the stone bowl, and continued to cook more meat porridge so that the rabbit people could eat their fill. The next morning, Yun Jioga did not leave with the rabbit people immediately. Instead, she let them stay in the cave. She even asked Gray and the others to bring a large number of dry branches. Ah Gu and Gui stayed with them. Ah Hui, you and Ah Fei will look for the place where the gnolls live later. Counselor, Ah Ping, and I will go back to the tribe to discuss with Elder Bai about rescuing the rabbit people, Yun Jioga said in front of all the rabbit people. Yes, the eagle men answered at the same time and left the cliff with Yun Jioga. Miss Yun, why don't you bring the rabbit people back? Counselor asked in confusion. Bring them to where? Eagle Cliff? Yun Jioga glanced at the military counselor and continued, those rabbits are so scared now. They definitely won't be willing to go with us. Secondly, if we bring them around, won't our rabbit forms be exposed? Before we find out the secret of the golden light, we must keep the matter of the rabbit tribe a secret. Do you understand? Don't worry, Miss Yun. We know what's important. The military counselor hurriedly promised, and the other eagle men also agreed. This matter concerns the beastmen race. I hope that you will keep your word, Yun Jioga said. Then can I tell Elder Bai? Military counselor could not help but ask. I'll talk to him personally. After Yun Jioga finished speaking, he turned to look at Ash and Ah Fei. After you find the gnolls' encampment, just wait for me at the rabbit tribe's lair. Yun Jioga did this because she did not want to tire them out. Also, if they could not find the lair of the gnolls, she and Zishang could figure it out themselves. Then let's head over now. Ash and Hoodlum turned and flew toward the rabbit tribe's lair. When Yun Jioga returned to Eagle Cliff, she saw a few eagle men diligently sprinkling water on the cliff. There were also many eagle men flying around carrying soil, preparing to plant moss in their lair. Seeing Yun Jioga return, all the eagle men stopped what they were doing and automatically saluted her. Yun Jioga returned all of them with a friendly smile. After flying to Elder Bai's lair, she saw that he was carefully digging out the moss on the cave wall, preparing to transplant it for his people. Miss Yun, you're back. How's the matter with the rabbit tribe? Elder Bai was very happy to see Yun Jioga. It's not going well. There's something I need to tell you. Yun Jioga told him about the transformation of Dummy and the rabbit tribe's golden power. Actually, Yun Jioga had already told Elder Bai about the golden light before. However, the old man was determined that it was a God-given ability, so he did not take it to heart. Now that he heard that the rabbit tribe, which they looked down on the most, had such an ability, he immediately became excited. Then why didn't you bring that old rabbit back? I'll ask her myself. Elder Bai, in my heart, whether you're herbivorous or carnivorous, strong or weak, you orcs are all the same to me. So I hope you won't look down on them, Yun Jioga said seriously. Miss Yun, you misunderstood me. I'm not looking down on them. In fact, I'm old friends with the rabbit elder, so I'm a little more casual with my words, Elder Bai quickly explained. Yes, Miss Yun, you see, Gua has been in Eagle Cliff for so long, and we've never treated her as an outsider. The military counselor quickly explained on behalf of his grandfather. Yes, I know you're all good people. All right, one more thing, don't tell anyone about this. Otherwise, the orcs will be in chaos, Yun Jioga warned seriously again. Don't worry, Miss Yun. If they dare to say anything, I'll break their wings. Elder Bai's tone was murderous, so no one doubted his determination. Then he reported something else to Yun Jioga. After he told the Eagle partners that Yun Jioga wanted to take over the surrounding tribes, those herbivorous orcs immediately urged their partners to send food back to their parents' home. Those herbivorous orcs immediately urged their Eagle man partners to send food back to their mother's home. Now, several tribes were crying and begging to submit to her. Count the number of people who want to pledge allegiance to the tribe and see what their specialties are. I'll go check on Yi Zi's situation. Whether it was settling down the other beast men or saving the rabbit tribe, Zi Shang had to take action. Perfect, Ah Zai is at Eagle Cliff. I'll let him take you there. Elder Bai immediately yelled, Ah Zai, come here. Elder, I was tired yesterday. Can't you let me rest for a while? Ah Zai ran over with sleepy eyes. He almost went around half the secret realm with Zi Shang yesterday. He was really exhausted. Stop talking, take Miss Yun to Master Yi Zi. Elder Bai kicked Zai. This elder, who only had a year to live, was full of energy. He didn't look sick at all. Ah Zai yelled exaggeratedly and came to Yun Jioga obediently. Let's go. Yun Jioga didn't have any sympathy for him. Ah Zai was just putting on an act. He was more talkative than grass along the way. Yesterday, Master Yi Zi made me fly around randomly in the sky. Then he found a small mountain and told me to stop there. It's there. Ah Zai pointed at a small mountain not far away. Then his jaw dropped in shock. Chapter 5:13. A circle of tall and thick gray walls rose abruptly around the mountain, looking indestructible. Outside the wall was a deep ditch. Although water hadn't been released yet, it was still very shocking. God, there was nothing when I left last night. Ah Zai couldn't close his mouth at all. Are you sure you didn't see wrong? The military advisor also found it hard to believe. I don't think I saw wrong. Ah Zai kept rubbing his eyes, suspecting that there was something wrong with his eyes. Stop rubbing, the wall is real. Let's go over and see. Yun Jioga wasn't surprised. Yin Shirley could use magic after all. Building a few city walls wasn't a problem for him. Zi Shang had long noticed them coming over and was standing on the city wall. He had a smile on his handsome face as he stared intently at Yun Jioga. The strong wind blew, causing his black hair and the hem of his clothes to dance, but it was unable to shake his figure. Yun Jioga landed next to Zi Shang and was grabbed by his hand. How was it? Did it surprise you? Zi Shang asked with a smile. It's all right. Yun Jioga looked around and saw a high wall separating the mountain and the flat land behind it. There were many caves on the hill, and it looked as if someone had made countless holes in it. What are you doing? Yun Jioga couldn't tell what kind of city Zi Shang wanted to build. This mountain is for the fighting tribes to live in. Behind it is a planting area. We just need to dig the water channel and we can plant the big eater grass. Zi Shang began to explain his idea to Yun Jioga. Are you planning to turn this mountain into a fortress? Yun Jioga didn't think the mountain was a place for people to live in. That's right, this is a fortress. If we launch an attack, the fighting tribes will fight here. The old, weak, women, and children will go to the city wall behind, Zi Shang said simply. Are you thinking of this battle too intensely? Yun Jioga looked at the things that looked like cannons on the mountain and felt his scalp tingle. This was exactly what a war looked like. It's better to be prepared, Zi Shang answered. He didn't tell Yun Jioga about his bad feeling. By the way, where's Yin Shirley? Yun Jioga looked around and didn't see the walking corpse sovereign. He's still working in the back. I'll take you to him. Zishang brought Yunjioga to the area at the back. From afar, they saw two figures, one big and one small, building a wall. Streams of yin energy spread out from their palms and turned into walls. Why did he even release his wife and child? Yunjioga was surprised. Yin Shirley's heart ached for his wife and children. How could he bear to let them work? It's probably because there are more people, Zishang said calmly. Miss Yun, you're finally here. When Yin Shirley saw Yunjioga, it was as though he had seen a relative. He had been mercilessly oppressed by Zishang for the past few days to the point that he was about to cry. Amazing! Bringing you here was indeed the right decision. Yunjioga gave Yin Shirley a thumbs up. Yin Shirley was filled with resentment, but he couldn't say anything. I'll go out with Jioga later. I'll leave this place to you. Zishang patted Yin Shirley's shoulder. Where are you going? Yin Shirley was surprised. A date. Zishang said seriously, as long as you have your wife by your side, can't I go out with my wife? All right. You guys go. Yin Shirley turned around helplessly and continued to work with a soaring resentment. Yunjioga didn't know if it was an illusion, but she felt that the yin-yang qi in Yin Shirley's body was even stronger. He was working faster. Let's go out and talk. After Zishang brought Yunjioga out of the back area, he said, Yin Shirley has been transferring his natal yin-yang qi to his wife and child all these years. He has accumulated a lot of yin-yang qi. It won't be a problem for him to build a city. No wonder. But it's not good for you to oppress him like this. After all, we're all friends. Yunjioga knew that Yin Shirley had given his natal yin-yang qi to his wife and child in the hopes that they would become zombies one day. I'm naturally giving him benefits when I ask him to work. You don't have to worry about this, Zishang said. What benefits can you give him? Yunjioga looked at Zishang suspiciously. This fellow was poor. Could he be trying to trick Yin Shirley with nothing? Are you looking down on me? Zishang glanced at Yunjioga and said, What I'm giving him is what he wants the most. Can you help his wife and child become zombies? Yunjioga was shocked. He hadn't heard that Zishang had such a skill. Then where did you get the confidence that Yin Shirley would be satisfied? I can't, but Fan Yin can. That fellow owes me a favor. Zishang raised his eyebrows and was full of pride. TSK, you're offering Buddha with borrowed flowers. Yunjioga looked down on him mercilessly. You came to me just to bicker? Zishang ruffled Yunjioga's hair. I'm not here on a date. Yunjioga first mocked Zishang before telling him about the rabbit tribe. Then you're here to ask me to deal with the lupus tribe? Zishang asked even though he already knew the answer. Of course. I don't trust anyone but you. Yunjioga flattered Zishang, which was very rare. You're such a sweet talker. Let's go now. Zishang dragged Yunjioga to the small mountain and saw Lu Zhe still flying around with advisor Junzi. Come down, Zishang yelled. The two eagle men quickly flew down. Master Yizi, you're too amazing. Zhe looked at Zishang with admiration. The eagle cliff they lived in was built after countless generations of effort. Zishang made it like this in one morning. The eagleman's ancestors wanted to jump out and worship him if they knew. Stop sucking up. Take us to the rabbit tribe's nest, Zishang said. Yes. Zhe and advisor Jun. They brought Yunjioga to the rabbit's nest. There was nothing unusual about the small hill that was covered in weeds. After Zishang landed, he and Yunjioga searched the area carefully again. Finally, they found the mark left by Ash in the corner. They found clues about the lupus tribe. It's in the east, advisor Jun. Then let's go find them now. Zhe rubbed his palms together. He wanted nothing more than to kill all the lupus tribe. Just as Zishang was about to nod in agreement, a figure suddenly appeared in the sky, flying crookedly. Yes, oh my God, Fei is injured. Advisor Jun. They immediately flapped their wings and flew toward Ash. Miss Yun, hurry up and take a look at Fei, Zhe shouted anxiously while carrying Fei. Half of Fei's wings were covered in blood. His face was sallow. He had already fainted. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.